Hello again, bruvs! And you are, my friends. And welcome back to another edition of Jim Cornette's Drive Thru right here on another day with another batch of shows to talk about and who knows what else. I'm your host, the great Brian Last, and of course, the star of the Drive Thru, Mr. Jim Cornette.
I'm back, baby! All the great sound effects that you've come to know and love, great. All of them are back again because Hotchkiss Featherbottom has been over here and fixed this issue. And what it was the Skype people had tried to suppress my noise. They had tried to suppress my free speech. And by gum, Hotchkiss turned that switch off. You were on the line when he did it. It was a noise filter, a background filter, noise filtering device that they had updated the Skype with. What was it, Brian, the technical term?
Skype had upgraded automatically on your end, and with that had come a noise filter that was turned on, it was toggled on, and because of that...
Toggled!
We heard your voice and nothing else.
Nothing. You couldn't hear the classic... See, you couldn't hear that.
Clap your hands.
See there? I got to clap.
Yes,
I got to clap back on the show thanks to the brilliance of Hotchkiss Featherbottom. He popped up screens on here I didn't even know we had. They were unscreened screens, Brian.
What does that mean? They were open and you didn't know they were open, or he was just opening things?
No, he opened them. He just opened these things that I didn't know were there and went to these controls and
what were they?
Clicked this and... Well, they set your controls for the heart of the sun. They were all kinds of, they were toggle switches and on and off things. And, well, this should be raised and that should be lowered. And now my sound is pristine.
Again, to be determined. We'll see how things work out. And this is happy talk.
To be determined.
To be determined.
You need more proof.
Well, we need to finish a show. We need to finish 5 minutes of a show.
Have I ever sounded better? Have I ever sounded better?
Well, there was that one episode you were hoarse.
Well, that was when I was interviewing Aubrey Ed. She was sick that day, and we were both a little hoarse.
Remember one year we did WrestleMania? You were like at WrestleMania, not there, but like in the town, and you called in. Oh, God. You actually called in the show.
Yes, and also I'd been doing commentary, and my voice was shot. And I'd had no sleep for 5 days. I don't do that anymore, and thank fucking God. If there is indeed a God, he has prevented me from doing damage to my health anymore by depriving myself of sleep and proper food and the rest that an old person like myself needs. Somebody called me the other day that shall remain nameless, that I had not spoken to in 30 years, didn't even know this person was still alive. And he left me a message, hey, Jim, give me a call. I might have a booking for you. What the fuck? When did they stop calling Thez? How old did he have to get before they said, well, no, we did. Might have a booking for you.
I think they called till the end, actually.
Well, but not for him to wrestle.
Well, Japan, maybe.
Well, that's true. Pretty close. All right, maybe a poor example.
Did you see Dory Funk Jr. just went over there to work a tour? Or work a show?
No, he did not. How is Dory 80?
Hold on.
What would he be?
82, 3? I would guess, maybe. Hold on. Dory Funk. Let me see if it says he's actually working.
But you're not talking about wrestling. Yeah, I can see the Funks were gods and fan of wrestling, so I could see he would appear.
Apparently he'll be in a tag team match teaming with Osamu Nishimura against Onita.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So obviously, it'll be Greco-Roman rules, I would assume.
Anyway, so the sound effects are back. At least we got that going for us. Brian, the last 2 days, we set a record here in Louisville, Kentucky. Or at least a record for the last 20. It has been 20 years since we had 2 days in August in a row where the high did not reach 80 degrees.
You know, it's the coldest it's been here in August in a long time. It's freezing in the morning. And this morning I woke up like, man, well, it is September. And I'm like, it's not September. What am I saying? It's August.
Well, I was about to say, don't get insulted and don't get used to it, because it's coming your way too, I have a feeling, because the next week, the low temperature a couple of days will be higher than the high temperature was the last couple of days. And the high during the day will be 97, 98 with a heat index of 105. But at least we had a couple of days for the tree crew to get out here. One more thing before I let you have your show. The poplar tree that's been laying in my backyard for 2 weeks now, right? I didn't want to pay the emergency rates because it couldn't fall any further. I didn't think. So you saw the pictures I tweeted, right? Did you see the size of this locomotive-sized tree laying in my yard?
I did, yes.
Okay. Well, they come over yesterday with the wood chipper that you like to throw people into, and the truck that's pulling that, and they get that down there, and they got the big truck up here that has some equipment and they got it's not a forklift, but imagine a forklift, but on the front of it, instead of the fork, is the thing that lifts the big pieces of trunk wood that you can't throw in a wood chipper, right? And they've got to use that to bring it up the hill to the driveway where the big truck is, because they can't put 10,000 pounds of wood in a fucking truck and then drive up the hill out of my backyard, which would probably create more chaos. So they're ferrying. Well, first they throw everything into wood chipper, and that was 2 truckloads. They had to go to the dump, half an hour each way, to dump this giant truckload of wood chipping before they got down to the part where they had to saw up and make logs, right? And you couldn't make a 6-foot log out of this because the fucking thing's so big around. So they're cutting it in like 1 foot wide chunks, and then the forklift brings it up the goddamn hill. So you saw the size of the roots and the sod and the dirt, even had a big spot of grass, yes. Everything.
The size of the sod.
The size of the sod. It was an old sod. 15 feet high off the ground, right, was that whole big root business and everything, and there was a big hole underneath it. Well, as they today, continuing their work from yesterday, they finally got down where, imagine they're chopping it from the top and they're going down to the trunk, right? In the left to right as it's laying there. I guess it could have been the other way if it was laying there. Whatever the fuck. They're going at the top to the trunk. Why are you laughing at me?
This is such a wonderfully descriptive story. It's almost like I'm there.
Yes, I wish you were. I got a big hole in my backyard I could put you in.
Hey, watch out. I got that wood chipper.
Oh, so they get about 10 or 15 feet from where the ground is because the trunk is sideways, so the ground is up in the air. See, now we're completely going against Newton's law of theoretics or motion or whatever, or who discovered gravity? When the apple was falling from the tree?
Sir Isaac Newton?
Newton, that's right. The theory of relativity, Sir Isaac Newton. So the ground is up in the air and the trunk is sideways. But when they cut one more chunk off about 10 or 15 feet before they got to the bottom, that son of a bitch stood straight up. It overbalanced itself, and they took enough weight off the top, and the whole thing fell back into the goddamn hole. And so now it's standing straight up, 15 feet. And when they cut it down to the ground, they've got thousands of pounds of roots and stump and fucking dirt connected that has fallen back in this hole that there's no way to pry underneath it and get it back over. And they can't chainsaw into the dirt. And nobody brought a stump grinder because there wasn't a stump to grind. So now they got to call and they got to get the stump grinding crew to come over here and get this fucking plug back out of the ground where it was standing up straight upright to begin with. And there were some startled faces, apparently. I was not there on the scene. But when that fucking thing stood up, it was like a goddamn corpse standing up out of a coffin, only much larger. It's like, what the fuck? So I believe they always make sure your roots are disconnected before you get too close to the fucking stump.
This has been Tree Time here on the Drive Thru.
Would you imagine a thing like that would happen?
Hey, speaking of Kentucky, did you see that program I posted the other day, the Strangler Lewis program when he won the world title from Joe Stecker?
Yes, I did.
Because it mentions he's from Kentucky right on the cover, although now living in San Jose.
Well, you didn't even know he wasn't really from Kentucky. No, he was. Oh my God! Now am I going to Nebraska? Right, but what was some small town that he was born in Nebraska? Correct?
Not Humboldt. That's not Nebraska.
No, that's Iowa.
Yeah, that's not even Nebraska.
You're way off. You're way off. But anyway, somehow part of the mythology of Strangler Lewis was that he was somehow a standout wrestler at the University of Kentucky, or some kind of standout. But well, you know this because you've read my wonderful book on the subject. But the first time that Strangler Lewis was called Strangler Lewis was in Louisville, Kentucky. And he had been booked the previous week under his own name, Robert Friedrich, or whatever name the spellings vary that he was using at that point. And he didn't show up. The train was late, whatever the fuck, right? So they sent another guy out and just used that name so they didn't have to check, because nobody knew who he was anyway. And they didn't want to change the card and make people think they were swerving him, right? So then he does show up the next week. Well, we can't call you that. They just saw Robert Friedrich or whatever. So Ed Strangler Lewis became an homage to Evan Strangler Lewis that had been a big-time wrestler like 20 years before that in the 1890s. But it was right here in Louisville that the legend of the Strangler was born, 1913.
It is crazy, though, even though obviously there's a difference between Ed and Evan. Just the complete copy of the name Strangler Lewis. If you were old enough, and people died younger back then, but if you were old enough that you were, 20 years earlier.
Out of your 30s.
Yeah, I mean, if you had been going to the matches.
Cholera was big back then. The cholera and the fucking jaundice.
But if you had been going to the matches, you had seen or potentially heard about or read about the first Strangler Lewis. All of a sudden, there's a second guy with the same name.
Well, there's Stone Cold Stan Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, here he comes,
exactly.
Man. Wonder if he's going to give anybody the stammer.
Well, that would be like, though, if they called Stan Austin just Stone Cold Austin. Because after a while, it was just Strangler Lewis. It wasn't always Ed Strangler Lewis.
Well, but think about this. 20 years was a long time back in those days, because imagine this. There's not only no internet, there's no television, there's no radio. And who keeps newspapers for 20 years? And so people could still remember the guy, but they probably didn't even have a picture of him. It wasn't like an iconic image. It was a name from the past, all the way 20 years ago, before the Spanish-American War.
John Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. When you think of time, it's a little crazy, especially if you go back and look at programs, newspapers, whatever it may be from back then. That's all they had. There was no television, and radio was really just getting going. But if you go back and look, you could really see the difference in 20 years. If you look at today and say, look at wrestling 20 years ago, 2004, there are differences, but by and large, it doesn't feel radically different. If you tuned into Raw, other than the recent production changes, it's not a radically different show than it was 20 years ago.
Right.
AEW kind of fits into what you imagine WCW would have looked like if it had lived.
Oh, come on.
Today.
Keep putting the boots to the corpse of WCW.
No, but seriously, the Turner production, just the look of it and everything, it looks kind of the same as it would have looked 20 years ago. If you go from like that point 20 years back to the mid-'80s, or from that point 20 years back to the 60s, let alone 20 years back from that to the advent of television, everything looks completely different from one era to the next.
You have a good point there, sir. Because there was some continuing evolution And not talking about, yes, more people were getting smart. That's the bad part of it. But we're not talking about, oh, we must all learn and grow. And we're just talking about, no, seriously. The rings got different.
Yeah.
The announcing styles got different. Because these were periods where people were inventing this shit. There had been no television announcing until 1948 for wrestling. 47 maybe. The early experimental airings. And so they had to, the manager barely existed and was more of a quarter man or a second. And then the promos came. There was constantly something evolving. And then, you know, the 80s opened up everything to where we got so successful and notorious that big business found out they could make money in wrestling and screwed the whole thing up. But yes, every 20 years you could see evolution from 20 years would have been the last Gotch and Hackenschmidt match to Londos being the world champion, which is completely different fucking style.
Yeah.
So now we're just stuck with it because in those days, I think the common denominator was the people controlling the business and the people in the ring drawing the money in the business had not been fans of fucking silly children doing flips. They had been fans of making money by beating each other's asses in a believable way.
Yeah, and again, you know, the John Langmead book, Ballyhoo, ties it all back or ties it together with boxing. And if you look at the promotion of professional wrestling, you know, until television really, in a lot of cases, well, I shouldn't say that, but at least until the 20s, it was promoted very similar to how boxing was.
Well, and there were still beaucoup of similarities until television, and even after that.
But then, you know, also during that period of time, in certain places, it started getting more gimmicky than it had been before, but not everywhere. Yes.
But certain places in boxing started getting more gimmicky than they had before. See Jess Willard to Primo Carnera.
Yeah.
Well, that's a deep cut for the boxing fans going back to Jess Willard.
And an NWA champion in Primo Carnera.
Yeah.
Or an NWA, well, was it NWA?
He was a champion in the NWA in California at that point, wasn't he? Or were they in the NWA? He wasn't the NWA world champion.
He was a world champion of the lineage of what the NWA later claimed was part of its lineage.
Well, no, no.
No?
No.
Hold on.
No, he's not. Now there I must call foul, or elsewise I lose my expert card.
No, you're the expert. I think you're probably right. Let me just check.
Oh, so you think I'm probably right, but you're going to take every fucking effort you can to make me look bad. See, the fact-checking on this show is more entertaining than most people's podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know why they flock to us.
Carnera's greatest victory took place December 7th, 1947, when he defeated former world champion Strangler Lewis.
Oh!
Oh.
Oh, boy, that must have, even at that age, that must have been a bitter pill for Lewis to swallow.
You're right. You know what? I'm just thinking of boxing, I guess. I was thinking of him as a world champion for some reason before.
No, but he was the world boxing champion.
That he was. That he was.
Which calls into question either the legitimacy or just the state of boxing at the time.
He was one of the names that Charles Van Duren knew on 21 for the boxing champions.
Charles Van Doren, not Van Duren.
I pronounce it my way. You can pronounce it however you want.
Is that just your New Jersey accent coming to the fore? Museum? Museum.
That's a whole new way to say it there that I haven't heard before.
Museum. And Chris and Tammy used to sweating. Oh, we're really sweating. We're so hot tonight. We're sweating.
There's no way they said it like that.
Well, it sounded like it down to us, people who had no accent in the hills of East Tennessee.
You know, it's funny. The other day, for whatever reason, I was thinking about Chris Candido. Because I used to talk to him on the phone every now and then. You know, just he had like, not in a funny way, but like he had a funny little voice that no one else has.
Yes.
Like no one has that voice. No one has that funny little voice he had.
Well, and the delivery
with
also.
the accent, yeah.
With the accent and the whole thing. We're not making fun of him like he sounded like fucking Squeaky or something.
No, he was unique. He was unique. No one else. I've never heard anyone else sound the way he sounded.
And on promos, he would project a little more than when he was just talking to you in person. But the greatest delivery of anything that may have ever heard was they came in one night in Barberville, Kentucky, Knox Central High School, in the heel locker room, and hey, guys, blah blah blah. It was our first. It was like Fridays. We hadn't seen each other for a few days. Everybody, and they said, "Chris, what did y'all do?" Well, we went and saw a movie. What'd you see? Carlito's Way.
Oh,
and
movie.
Somebody
great
said,
movie.
"Well, there you go." Somebody said, "Well, what's it about?" And Candido said, "It's about this guy named Carlito and the way he does things." And that was it. So we got to see that movie. Anyway, you got to do this show, don't you?
Mr. Thez, I just want to say hello. If you don't mind zipping up, I'm the NWA champion.
He just had his dick in his hand. Okay, we've left some people behind. I apologize if you've heard this one before, but Chris Candido has just won the NWA World title that Primo Carnera never held. Because after Paulie and Shane Douglas screwed Dennis Corluzzo at the NWA title tournament and blah, 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 they have another tournament. They put the belt on Candido while he's working for me in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and I cleared the dates so that because there weren't that many, but so that they could do that. And so Candido's flying back from somewhere, and he's in the airport bathroom, and he looks over at another one of the troughs, and there's Lou Thez, who's going back to Norfolk, Virginia, where he lived at the time. And this is 1994. So Thez is what? He's in his mid-70s, probably. And Candido's, I got to meet him. So he goes up to Thez, and I'm sure he waited for him to put all of his apparatus together. But he said, "Mr. Thez, excuse me, I'm Chris Candido. I just wanted to shake your hand. I'm so glad to meet you," that type of thing. And because Candido's got the blonde hair and he's so thick, right? You could tell he's one of the boys, but you know, he kind of sheepishly went into it. He said, you know, I wrestle. You know, and Lou is, you know, very accommodating to him, and he gives him. When you shook hands with Lou Thez, it was like shaking hands with like several pairs of pliers with some fucking plastic wrapped around them. I don't know how to explain it. Everywhere that there could be a bone in his hand, like a joint, like the knuckles and the butt of your hand with your thumb, and even where you would get calluses, there were giant calcified growths where they'd been broken so many times, right? So he's shaking hands with Chris, and Chris has said, "I'm a wrestler." And finally, Chris decided to come out with it because he was like sheepish, but he's like, "Yes, sir, I just won the NWA World Heavyweight title." Can you imagine having to say that to Lou Thez? Oh, my God. And fucking Lou leans in, big of the conspiratorial voice that the boys used to use, and said, "Kid, as you're traveling around these territories, just be careful of a double cross." And the greatest thing is that he just got the title because there had been a legitimate fucking double cross.
That's true. Shane Douglas. That's right.
Yes. But it never happened in the ring anymore. It only happened on promos when nobody could get stretched for it. As it wasn't like fucking Slatton trying to take the belt away from Race and Harley walking over and slapping him around and taking it back. It was, you know, they just, okay, now it's all over. Everybody's gone. Let's do this promo. Anyway.
Well, this has been wrestling history from Strangler Lewis to Lou Thez.
And Chris Candido.
That's right. And Primo Carnera and many others. But Jim, let's get some of these reviews out of the way. Let's start with the beginning of the week. And we may be switching up the schedule of recording a little bit in the coming weeks and months to try to get Raw out a little sooner. But let's talk about WWE Raw.
You sound like Nick Goulas now, and this is the biggest con I've signed in the past weeks and months. Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to make everybody happy, including our beleaguered editor, Jay Sharknado, has left the country. He's about to leave the country because we've driven him insane. He's going to follow the fucking yellow brick road around the world or whatever. But we're trying to get these not only audio issues. We're going to upgrade the equipment, is what you're threatening now. I just wanted to drop a little nugget there.
I don't make threats, and what I'm saying is there will be a concerted effort, organization-wide, for a major upgrade in the latter half of 2024.
Which is basically a nice way of saying that Hotchkiss is going to come over here and get another goddamn computer hooked up for me that is just purely for recording this program, where now I got to look at two of these fucking things, and we potentially have to find somebody with Spectrum that knows how to give me the internet speed that I've been paying for the last 2 or 3 years.
We've determined the best way to keep things going is to have a computer for every single function Jim would need. So we're going to have 5 computers all around him. One for email, one for general fun, whatever that means. One for the show recording, and 2 others that are not yet applied to any specific task.
Well, the websites I visit are dropping like flies anyway. But nevertheless, we're going back to Raw.
We're going back to Raw.
We're going back. We'll get back to where you once belonged, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that is, where they had a big house on hand. Again, while I talk about this, can you find out how many fucking people they had in Fort Lauderdale?
Why are you cursing about that?
This is getting ridiculous.
You mad about it? Why these
I'm starting to get pissed. Let somebody else make some fucking money. For heaven's sake, this ought to be unconstitutional now for these people to make this fucking money.
Hey, before we get going too much further on that topic, and not taking away any of the problems that are self-induced that AEW has, is there anything to the idea that WWE is so hot no one else can make money? Or is it just because if the other company was doing well and producing something like WWE in terms of connection with an audience, they'd still be able to do both good?
They'd still be able to do both good. Keep that in. Put that on the Christmas reel. No, it's fucking ridiculous, because this is not a promotional war anymore. This is AEW is trying to do whatever they're doing, but it's not a viable contender. Whereas you might have thought one time a few years ago that maybe they could do something to get They still weren't going to fucking beat the WWE, for God's sake, but could they get 25 or 30% of the market? Well, whatever that, think how big that is. But no, not now. No, that's a fallacy, because think about this. In every promotional war, whether territorial or national, where it was actually a fucking fight, both businesses prospered. Indianapolis and Detroit, we've talked about before, in 1972 through 74. Sheik didn't come to Indianapolis, but Bruiser went to Detroit. But not only did Sheik start selling out because he was bringing in incredible amounts of talent to fucking be the big show, but Bruiser was still they started out doing, I think, 8,000 or 10,000 people for a couple of shows, but Bruiser would do 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people at the Olympia Stadium against the same night the Sheik doing 10,000 in a Kobo. There was the time, for a national example, with Crockett and the WWF in 1986, there was a night that they were at the Riverfront Coliseum and we were at the Cincinnati Gardens. Hogan was at Riverfront. Flair and Dusty were on top, and Midnight Rock and Roll, during our first hot run at the Gardens. And we sold out, which the Gardens was 11,000 something, say 12,000 people. And they had 6,000 or so, 7,000 at Riverfront. That's almost 20,000 fucking people in Cincinnati, same night. But it has to be, and the Attitude Era, look it up, kids. They were fucking printing money, both companies, for 2 years, which is about how long it takes under normal circumstances for one of these things to play out when it's a dogfight. With Jerry Jarrett and Nick Goulas, it was 6 weeks. So the point is, it has to be a competition, and then both companies for a while will do good against each other, even night to night, or, same night. But if it's not, then it hurts the B team badly when the other guys are around. Anyway.
Well, I have the attendance here, an estimate. They don't have a full number, but as of 7:30 p.m. the day of, so a half hour before the show, there were a little over 220 tickets available and over 11,500 tickets distributed.
Okay, so point is, it looks great. And I'm going to make the point again, when they play Randy Orton's music and he comes out, the fans are singing the words to the song. The voices in my head, they bring me mad, they kill me dead. I don't know what the fuck it is. And all he has to do is stand in the ring and let them sing to him and cheer and whatever. And then he just sets it up. Gunther's made it personal, talking about my father and grandfather, so I RKO'd him. And they play Gunther's music. And then the announcers get to fucking talk Gunther to the ring and sell. And get people over and whatever, while the fans are just booing the shit out of him. Well, he talked from the entrance, but on these things, the long entrances of everybody in these talking segments gives the announcers a chance to set the shit up. And these guys are so over, they can milk the singing and so what you would normally format for a 6 or 7 minute interview exchange, now on this show, you can 15 or 20 minutes, because that's what it's going to take, unless you step on the people. You see where I'm going with this?
I think so.
They don't need any material now. They just have to go out there and mention the other guy, and he comes out, and they milk the shit out of it, because Gunther, they're booing the piss out of him, and they're screaming and they're chanting. And finally, Orton has the best line: "You're going to have a real uncomfortable flight to Berlin with a size 15 boot up your ass, triple wide," or whatever the fuck. And they square off, and Kaiser jumps in from behind, and Orton dumps him and goes to Gunther, and Kaiser clips Orton's leg, and Gunther levels him. And, and there you go. Well, by God, I'll see you in Berlin. And that's... But this is on the territory television, or potentially a television of a company that's not necessarily got 12,000 screaming fucking people in the building. There's about 5 minutes of fucking content here, but they don't need any more. I'm trying to rationalize how we've got this far, that the biggest stars are over for doing the least amount on television.
I guess technically that's the way it's supposed to be if everything works, no matter what year, right?
Yes. Well, yes. It now with what they do see finally when they pay for it. It used to have to be a little more extensive, but now they can get away with that too. Anyway, your thoughts on this segment, if you have any.
It was fine. I mean, I'm not really excited about the match or anything. And I don't know, I'm not really that into it, but it was fine.
Oh, come on, fine. I'm anxious to see it, because I think that it not only with Orton being the most accomplished, old-fashioned worker that there is there left, and Gunther being timeless, that I think we're going to see an athletic fucking exhibition of drama and pathos and all that other type of shit. But Gunther has to beat him, and that's going to be a big deal for Gunther to beat Randy Orton 1, 2, 3 somehow. I don't know, and at the same time, how can they have Gunther's Kaiser do a blatant heel fuck in Berlin.
Right. Do you think it's guaranteeing Gunther's the babyface in Berlin?
I think, see, here's the thing. It's not necessarily that he's from Germany, but he's there, or that I know he's from Austria, or where the fuck it is, Vienna?
Austria. Yeah.
Is Vienna in Austria?
Yes.
Yeah, well, one of those, maybe he's in Lederhosen. I don't fucking know. I don't know that much German, right? My German is limited to Hogan's Heroes when I was in Sergeant Schultz. Eins, drei, vier. I can go that far. But the point is, he's not just from there, but he's somebody they can be proud of. I mean, they can boo the personality that he's presenting, but the WWE pay-per-view big event crowds are the smartest groups of those crowds, and the smart fans have to be somewhat enamored of Gunther because he's so fucking good. So if it was maybe, the Logan Paul in Cleveland, yeah, but it's Gunther in Germany. It's springtime for Gunther in Germany.
I'm going to guess that won't be his theme song, but Raw rolls on.
All right, then. Sheamus beat Pete Dunne. I know you're upset about that, but it happened.
What do you think of the idea there? He's not Butch anymore. He's mad about the whole Butch time.
He's not Butch. He's really femme.
He's really femme. No, that's not what I'm saying. He's no longer Butch. He's no longer named Butch.
He had to give away all of his black leather, and the spikes went away.
No, apparently he just had to give up Ridge Holland. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, God, the ridging or the edging?
That's not what I'm saying. Again, you're going way too far, but he gave up being Butch. I can't say it now. I just can't say it. This man is no longer Butch. And what do you think of anything? What do you think?
Oh, I don't care. Maybe he should go away and learn a new hold, Pete Dunne, and come back when we don't remember that he was wearing the little street urchin cap and looked like a fucking Charles Dickens character. I don't really care right now. I don't care that he and Sheamus were in the same social circle before.
Sheamus?
Whatever. He ought to be ashamed of himself beating up on this little Pete Dunne. And especially if the guy is not going to be Butch anymore, then why is he hanging around with another guy that's going to give him banger after banger after banger? So later on this program,
well, he's not hanging out with him anymore. Actually, it works in kayfabe now that I think about the disgusting remarks that you're making. It works because he gave up being Butch, so he's no longer interested in banger after banger after banger.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. I'm glad we've resolved that for all of their sakes. Maybe now their families can find some peace. So they're setting up more of why that Xavier Woods is upset. And, the New Day, oh, Jesus Christ, the trombones and the Fruit Loops and the whatever the fuck's going on. We just can't stand it for a long time. But they're actually telling some type of story here. Woods is upset because Kofi didn't ask him before Kofi asked Odyssey to join the New Day because he doesn't want to replace Big E. But Kofi says, no, you and I, we're family, but we're trying to help a rookie like we wish that they would have done to us or whatever the fuck when we were mere children. And then Odyssey Jones comes in and he just fucking hugs the shit out of Woods, and he's very exuberant to the point of, oh, Jesus Christ, this fucking guy, according to Woods. So that's where they're going with that.
I'm kind of on Woods' side. We're a team. You can't just show up with some new guy and be like, hey, here's your new friend. What's that?
Well, now that you put it that way, fuck this fucking guy, Kofi. And fuck Odyssey.
Well, you don't have to go too far. Odyssey's just a young guy trying to break in.
Well, no, I think Woods ought to crack both of them over the head with a fucking boat oar.
You know, like I said to you last week.
Why don't they ever use a boat oar? Even when they're in Corpus Christi or Galveston, and nobody brings in a boat oar. How many great movie murder scenes have occurred with a boat oar?
There's been a few. I don't know how many great scenes there have been with murder scenes. Excuse me, murder scenes.
Go back in the fucking Academy Award archives and find that best boat oar murder.
Well, they're not going to murder anyone on Raw, so what are you saying? They're going to pull out this...
Well, they could try. What's the difference?
And you know what? There's nothing ridiculous about it being under the ring, because everything's under the ring.
Well, yeah, especially in a fishing town.
They leave their fishing equipment under the ring.
You go. Because you never know when you might need to go catch some trout just for the halibut.
What do you think of the potential of Xavier Woods as a heel?
The problem is
Were you around him before he was in WWE?
Yes. In TNA, Consequences Creed. No, he's a nice young man. I'm not knocking. I hate this whole New Day thing, and I'm sure they've made a bunch of money with it. But good Lord, the trombones and etc. But a very nice young man, very smart and studious and etc. So I'm not knocking him, but how is he going to turn heel on his partner who's the same size as him? And his partner's new friend that's 400 fucking pounds. Doesn't he need some help?
He's doing it in the name of Big E.
Well, Big E ain't going to come back and team up with him.
Yeah, if you're coming back from a neck injury, working with Odyssey Jones may not be the way to go. We
don't know he's going to come back from a neck injury, do we? Have we heard that?
No, I mean, he's been hosting their pregame shows, but there's been no indication he's coming back. So
so the point is Woods needs to find a friend, right? He needs to get on the friend finding site and find him a friend. Or elsewise he's out fucking gunned here, isn't he?
Well, he's on the way.
Well, he's on the way. Anyway, Model Girl tried to wrestle Ivy Nile. Did you see that?
You know,
did you see any of that?
I did watch this because I was intrigued by what it would be.
Well, it was kept short, and that's not a surprise. But again, you can see her heart beating, and she's the only person I've ever seen that you don't need an X-ray, you just need a Kodak to see whether her bones are broken. You can see she's a skeletal structure of a woman. It looks like a fucking awkward newborn fawn trying to find its way up an icy hill. Is that descriptive enough for you?
I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say that's for me, but I would say it's descriptive. And she is very, that's one of the things I think we've seen with men, but with the women, it really stands out more when they don't have the traditional frame of someone who will be taking a lot of bumps.
She makes Stacy Keibler look like Steamboat.
Come on.
So then the lights went out.
Stacy Steamboat?
You know that if only Ricky had adopted her to be his ward or something like that, the Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson type of deal, and then she could have been Stacy Steamboat and the world would have been her oyster. But then the lights went out, as I had mentioned, and the spooky piano played. Don't feel like you have to accompany this now with fondling your organ over there. And the fog began rolling in from San Francisco Bay. And Model Girl just disappeared. And now they're presenting it. I mean, I guess they're trying here. Maybe they've heard some of our program. I'm sure they've heard some of our programs. Because now the announcers are saying, well, it's Nikki Cross who believes she's Abby the Witch. Have they been doing that before? Or can I just not hear it because I'm so stunned at what I'm seeing?
Well, I noticed they started doing it with the Wyatt 6 match, where it wasn't like, here's the pig-faced man. It was, here's Dexter Lumis has grown his hair out. What's wrong with him? Like, that was what it was. And with this, again, she gets in the ring, dressed like some kind of horror creature, slowly walking and acting like a horror creature, and Ivy Nile standing there. All I'm thinking is, why doesn't she go, Nikki ass, is that you? And then drop kicker or something.
Yeah, well, that's another, because Ivy Nile is standing there mortified like she's seeing the visage of grisly death appear before her, instead of just, okay, if it's a Nikki Cross, I'm going to kick her in the crotch and run or something. It's like they have been endowed with the power to inspire fear amongst people where they just paralyzed. They can't run or go anywhere. So it's a little theatrical, is what we're trying to say. But there's Rowan and Loomis and Gacy. Sounds like a fucking law firm in Cleveland. And they attack Chad Gable and the Creeds, who obviously were in support of Ivy Nile. And Cross tackles Ivy, and the fans, I believe, they were chanting, "You fucked up." But was this the part? Because there was a part where they chanted, "You fucked up," and they were trying to bleep it in this show. And then there was another part where I don't think they caught it in time. But anyway, and then Captain Howdy is there and gives
Uncle Howdy.
What?
He's not a captain. He's an uncle.
I'm sorry. Well, he could be a captain and an uncle. One of my uncles was a captain.
Captain what?
No, he was a colonel. Is a captain more important than a colonel, or a colonel more important than a captain?
What arm of the military are we talking about?
Well, he flew planes in World War II.
For what arm of the military?
For what? For no, ours. Not goddamn somebody. He was on our side. The fuck do you think I am? What is the matter with you?
I said what arm of the military, not what military.
I thought you said what.
Was he on Japan's side? Is that why you have hard feelings against Japanese wrestlers?
I thought you said what army, you son of a bitch.
What arm of...
Well, I guess he was in the Air Force. I'd have to go down and check the newspaper clippings. But it seems to me that all the pictures are in black and white. So, you can't really tell by that.
But what you're saying is he wouldn't have been afraid of Nikki Cross.
No, I didn't. I don't know where you...
I'm trying to bring it back to the Wyatt 6.
About.
I'm trying to bring it back to the review.
Well, why was I talking about my uncle?
I don't know.
Well, you made me forget. I had a point. Did I make it?
You made a point about your uncle? Sounds like a wonderful man who was in some army and some arm of some army somewhere.
And you know where he kept his army? In his sleevey.
He was a frogman for Canada. I don't know what he was doing.
No, that's only in Quebec. But
see, that's awful.
Well,
they're gonna get mad about that. I didn't even think of that.
Oh, they're mad about everything. The Quebecers, for fuck's sake, they live to be mad. You can't even get ice in your fucking drinks up there just to piss you off. But we were saying an uncle can be a captain, and whether it's Captain Howdy or Uncle Howdy, he could easily be one and not the other, or he could be both. But he gave his finish to Chad Gable, and the end. They faded to black, and then you see a friend of ours walking down the hallway. But give me your thoughts first of all on this. Started as a bad wrestling match, and poor Ivy now, you could, she was trying, but this woman, skeletal being, it just ain't gonna happen. But it started as a wrestling match and ended as Plan 9 from outer space. Your thoughts?
Plan 9 has its charm, unlike this. I don't like it at all. I mean, now they're trying to make it less mystery-based, and they're trying to make it, these are real people who have real issues, and they're getting through these issues by dressing like, they're like furries. I don't know what their deal is, actually. And I listen to the reaction. The fans are reacting when the piano hits, because they know, it's a good time to pick someone's wallet. The lights will be out. I know, but they react to it.
I don't know. I would have been thinking about at least fucking feeling somebody up, but you're all about a profit, and I'm all about the fucking fun.
Yeah, that's not really fun. That's called being a pervert. But I was saying something, and you made me think of my uncle. What's going on here? No, what I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, is the one good thing is all this stuff And again, the fans there react to it, not at the same level of main event stuff, but they react to it. It's in this zone. Like, it's mixed in with the Alpha Academy and the people like this, where there's nothing that you are supposed to take too seriously. The problem I have is this is not the first time where either something serious is right before it or right after it. And I think it's been with Punk a couple of times, where they follow the monster segment with a segment with lights on with CM Punk. And it's
speaking to people in a real legitimate fashion.
It's a stark contrast, because in this case here, it happened right away.
Yes, it did.
I'm Brian Last, and those are my thoughts.
You are correct, sir. Well, thank you. You're supposed to say over. So, I agree with you, because as soon as we faded to black from the zombies, and not even the ones who made the fucking cool records, but just these zombies, it's the 9 o'clock hour, and like Mussolini, following the zombies, he dug himself out of a grave. Oh, he's a survivor of AEW.
Oh, God.
Well, think about this.
You're singing? No, let's not.
No,
let's move on to something else. Let's not and say we didn't.
No, it's let's not and say we did.
No, in this case, let's not and say we didn't.
Ah. So you're jealous. See, but anyway,
that's your takeaway.
Well, yes, if I say, I just call a turd a turd there. But anyway, now I had something I was going to say. Oh, I'll tell you what I was going to say.
You have an uncle. He was in the army.
No. We've done that on the previous segment. The Punk, what I'm trying to make, is I think unique among professional wrestlers now, in that 3 specific weaselly faced fucking people. I'm not saying there's only 3, but 3 specific weaselly faced people were putting a mouth on him, as Dennis Corleuzzo used to say, and he was able to punch one repeatedly in the face. I think he clocked the other one too, and he front face locked the third stooge, and then exits a company where he was obviously miserable, and then goes to the biggest company in the world and is doing some of the best promos, I think, of his career, and obviously making more money than he was in La La Land over there. But he actually got to fucking dot everybody in the face on the way out. I think that's commendable, don't you?
Commendable? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think some people still need to be hit. What was the question? There are some people that still need to go down. But what was your question?
Most of the time, when you leave somewhere, you don't get to fucking pickle the fucking guy that you want to pickle on the way out. And I admire him for his perspicacity and being able to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, he did it twice, technically. He did it once and he got sent home for a while, and then he came back, he did it a second time. So
well, the second pickle wasn't as hard as the first, though.
Well, he's a little pickle. It's a little hairy pickle.
Oh, he's not even a dill. He's just a bread and butter.
That's right.
Anyway, so Punk comes out with the strap around his neck. And the promo, he congratulates the Panthers, which are the local team down there that does the thing that team does. Is it hockey or who is it? What do they do there, the Panthers? Are they affiliated with college sports? I don't fucking know.
It's hockey. It's indeed hockey.
Well, they like them down there, and he congratulated them, and he got the people fired up. And he tells them stories, and he talks to them, and it's meaningful shit. And he was at Fanatics Fest. Why is the WWE on a hot streak? Because it's you people, the fans. He met a cancer survivor, and he talked about his friends with cancer. And he met a girl that flew 15 hours to meet him. He said, I missed you guys for 10 years, so I get excited to do this again. And there's the bracelets that the fans have made. So, okay, I'm Taylor Swift for men. Hi, he's not doing stand-up comedy, and he's not doing a prepared dramatic scene. He is speaking to people and telling them something in a verbose fashion that they can listen to and get into or whatever the fuck. And then he tied the bracelets into the one that Drew McIntyre took. And then seamlessly promoting Drew. Well, I got some news for everybody. I made Drew a bracelet, and he holds the fucking strap up. And he announces in Berlin it's going to be a strap match. What sense does that make? Just because Drew tried to whip him with his belt, but Punk took the belt away from Drew and whipped him with it, and now they're going to have a strap match? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Ha ha ha. This shit's logical. They have reasons for the things that they're doing. And what did we say on the last program that you and I did 48 hours ago or whatever it fucking was? I talked to you goddamn constantly. Your pearly tones excite me, Brian. I said the heel has to steal or fuck up something that means something to the babyface. Whether it is a championship or money or a car or a personal item or whatever the fuck. Personal issues draw money. This is wrestling at the root of it. Inside this, goddamn overblown production that it's become, these days. But at the root of it, this is fucking wrestling. And he explains the stipulation. You gotta fucking drag your opponent to all four corners to win the match. And he says, I'm gonna whip this bitch and take my bracelet back. And ba-boom, Drew. But first, your comments on Punk.
My comments on Punk? Oh, his hair looked wonderful. What do you want to hear?
No. I mean, what do you think of the things I've said about his promo? Do you see, I see a difference in what he does and what a lot of other people do in talking giving them this overblown, grandiose, prepared. They're trying to all be goddamn Shakespeare eloquently instead of just talking to people.
He does a better job of saying a lot and getting people to listen without getting bored than most people can or do.
Yes.
Because he goes on for a while and you don't really get bored with it. There's always intrigue in what's coming, what's next, what's he going to say. He's shown that he'll say things. What's he going to say? I thought this was an okay promo. My big disappointment, and I know I'm in the minority here on this call.
Uh-oh.
I'm not a big fan of strap matches. So that deflates me a little bit. I've never been a fan of strap matches. And never been a fan on what usually ends up being the finish in almost every strap match I've ever seen.
But, playing devil's advocate, when's the last time that you saw a strap match?
Oh, Sting and Vader, 92. No, I don't remember. I don't remember the last one I've seen, so I can't quote the specific last one, but just not one of those matches I've enjoyed. Now, let's see what these guys can bring to it here that'll change my mind, but it's not like a stipulation. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the one.
Well, what I'm thinking is that, and I can see because you've been watching them for 30 years, a lot of those finishes were in the territories. I don't remember. There's been a large chunk of modern wrestling that I have not watched. If they've done the finish that you're talking about in the modern era, and some of the listeners I'll be glad to be not corrected on this because I'm saying I don't know. So you can't really correct that, but enlighten me. Have they done the finish? Anybody that knows it will know what I'm talking about, to the four-corner strap match in the modern era on major pay-per-view, but I still don't think they're going to do that.
So, and again,
okay.
The finish works good in some places, and in other places it doesn't. It depends on the people, depends on how it's done. But typically in these matches, after a while, you may see it coming. You used it very effectively in 1993 without giving details because you're hiding this. So I won't say anything too much. But
all right, no, I'll go ahead and tell them because you're going to praise me. But actually, if you remember, it was kind of fucked up, but it worked because the people thought they were really seeing a fucking struggle.
that's right.
But the deal is that finally the babyface makes a big comeback, but then gets stopped, and the heel wraps the strap around his neck or somehow, and is dragging the guy to all four corners. But as the heel touches the corner and moves to the next corner, the babyface touches the turnbuckle behind him, so they're 1-1, then 2-2, then 3-3. And then as the babyface puts the brakes on, and as the heel jerks, trying to get to the last corner, the babyface gets jerked over the top of him and touches first. But I don't think they're going to do that because I just said it out loud, but also because a lot of people probably have seen that, but also I don't think it's what they're going for here. I don't think it is a finish that would be a logical progression in this story. I think what they're going for, and see if I come out right, is if people were disappointed because they didn't see violence with the Seth Rollins referee involvement, I think we're going to see some fucking violence. I think people are going to be red, white, and blue from that strap, and they're going to have some creative shit going on. And I believe most probably they will fucking end up doing some type of finish to continue the program. But that doesn't mean, either guy necessarily has to win, although I would think that they would return the favor from, what was the last pay-per-view we did? SummerSlam. But that's just me. But, Drew came out right there. So we've gotten off on a tangent here. Is this where we were talking about my uncle flying planes?
No, that was a different tangent and a different arm of the show.
A different arm of the show?
That's right. It was a different arm of the show.
Well, let me give it a leg up here now. So as soon as Punk said he was going to take his bracelet back, Drew's music played, and he comes to the entranceway with the microphone. And again, he not only does a great heel promo, but it's because of his attitude and delivery, as Finkel would say, demeanor. But his delivery puts it over the top, and the accent works for him because he still has a man's voice and doesn't sound like he's gargling marbles. And he sounds like a movie star instead of a goddamn rugby thug or whatever. But is very unique with his verbal skills now that he's unleashed himself, but also his delivery and just the whole package puts it over the top. And he agrees to the strap match, but he wants a teaser right now. And he tells Punk, lose the strap and let's fight. And Punk said, I'll give you the strap if you give me the bracelet. And then Drew milks it and says, no. Actually, he said, no. That's kind of more like him, isn't it?
He has the best facial expressions during promos. When someone else is talking and they show him, he sells everything perfectly with his face.
And it doesn't have to change that much on him because you can tell it. He can go from being just smug to fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Just with the eyebrows and the fucking...
lifting the mustache a little.
Yeah.
That's it.
Muscles.
Yeah.
But finally, Punk says, it's not about me attached to you. It's you going to be attached to me. And that's all they had to do. And there you go. And again, a lot of that was just a conversation, but they built it and got to a point and sold the issue. That's my point that I got to.
Well,
I took a drink.
That is the point
because I'd put a period on the end of a sentence, so I thought, pardon me for taking air and liquid.
No, I'm okay with the air and liquid. Swami was barking as soon as you took your break, so I was trying to prevent.
Oh, so you were distracted by the dog barking.
I wasn't distracted. Again, thinking of the listener and the listener experience, I didn't want just a random dog to appear in the middle of the track. I thought that would throw people off. People are driving down the road, all of a sudden looking over their shoulder, thinking there's a dog attacking them.
All right, well, okay, but then you got to have Swami music.
What's that going to be?
I don't know. You got to have
music.
some.
What does that mean? For him, like entrance music?
Yes, and every time and I'll do the same thing for Harley over here when she sits with me and she has one of her coffin spells or whatever.
You don't have any instruments, do you?
Well, I'll find something and we have to play it so that way we identify. As soon as you hear the dog in the background, we play the dog's intro music.
Oh, what could it be?
So the people know that the dog is here, and then the dog becomes part of the show, and then. That way it's not an unexplained character.
This is such a fun idea. What sound should I apply to Swami? Hold
on. Oh, good Lord. I meant like real music.
Swami's on the loose. Oh, and the music's not stopping. Let's go. Well, whether it's Swami or Harley or Larry, bringing it back to this, who's on the bracelet, what did you think of Drew saying, put down the strap and I'll fight you right now? Because that's, again, it ties to what Punk says in return, but that's a very babyface kind of line.
Well, actually, not really. Because when you think about it, who else ever even gives it that much legitimacy to even say, put down that fucking flamethrower and I'll fight you right now? But no, it's a heelish, it came off as a heelish thing because of his deal. Well, put the strap down and I'll fight you right now. Because he'd already tried to fucking whip Punk. He knows Punk wants to whip his ass. I don't know. I think that was fine.
Well, Jim, knowing there's a strap match coming up and knowing that this show is just rambling on various things, but more importantly, a strap match coming up, a big strap match, you would think that maybe someone would need to shave before that match. They would look in the mirror and say, I want to look good for this beating. I'm going to shave my face. Make sure my flesh is visible when it's all red and beaten up. And we know someone who can help them shave. Don't we, Jim?
What you have done here is, Brian Last, you have missed the obvious transition. Well, folks, I'll tell you what, if they're going to have a strap match, if you want to sharpen your razor up with a strap, you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can take that razor out, you can beat it up and down that big old leather strap until your arms ache and you accidentally cut off your penis or your tonsils or something.
What?
That you'd like to keep. Or you can do it the modern, easy way and get a brand new, sharper than a serpent's tooth razor courtesy of our friends over at Harry's. Now, wouldn't that have been better?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, of course it would, because if you don't want to, those straight razors, that's another thing. Sometimes it's hard to get those neck areas with that straight razor, especially if you got a little palsy to you, and you don't want anybody else to put a razor to your throat at this day and age.
Yeah, well, this is going in a lot of directions all at once, and let's bring it right back to a central location.
Well, the central location is if you go to Harry's, our friends at Harry's, they will send you a razor that even if somebody tried, they wouldn't be able to cut your fucking carotid artery with it. Even if a member of your household thought he's asleep finally, I'll take this fucking razor.
No.
There's no way. You can only get a close shave with our friends at Harry's Razors and products like that.
Let's focus on listeners who live with people they trust.
Well, nobody's going to be able to get even. I'm just telling you. And, I'm just talking about cutting your throat. And let's face it, if somebody tried to cut something else off, they can't with Harry's.
Again, Lorena Bobbitt has no involvement with this. Let's get back to shaving one's face, shaving one's facial hair, doing it with a fine razor of, I forget what the handle is, but you have the copy and the handle is great, and you can shave the hair with Harry's.
Yes, and have you ever seen a picture of Lorena Bobbitt? She should have done something about her facial hair. And I'll tell you, folks, right now, Harry's is going to give you the sharpest edge on life. If you want to go out and look cleaner than slicker than a whistle, and clean and nice and everything without all the growth all over you. And for some of the audience has sent us pictures where they're having to shave their foreheads now. Well, folks, you can go no further than Harry's. You don't have to go to the grocery store and get those high-priced shave cartridges that they're weighted down by chains to the alarms that go off if you try to steal these things because they're so valuable. Instead, actually, they're not valuable. They're just high-priced. Instead, you go right through harrys.com, harrys.com/JCE, and you're going to get a 5-blade razor with a weighted handle, ergonomic design, the foaming shave gel, and a travel cover so you can't even nick your fingers, much less slice your uvula. And you're going to get that for just $3. And this is the 5-blade razor that comes from the Germans can make fucking razors. They like to make sharp shit. And for $3, the gel, the cover, and the most importantly, and it's a beautiful razor. It's a lovely fluorescent color. $3. Normally, that apparently, whereas it's $13 for that normally, but you can get it for $3 at harrys.com/JCE. And then, as Brian, as I know you have done, because you like a smooth forehead, you can sign up for Harry's to be delivered monthly, half what you pay for the other big brands. They've also got the deodorant, the lotion, the body wash, the hair gel, the crotch wax. It's an amazing...
There's no crotch wax. Let's not add items that they have not released to the public or that we are in any way aware of.
Did they discontinue that with the taint paste?
I don't think... I think you may have been getting packages from a different Harry. Not Harry's.
Oh, it was... yes. I was pen pals with Harry Reams back in the 80s.
What?
And he still sends me things everyone. But anyway...
He became very religious, you know.
Well, I tried to break him of it, but he wouldn't listen. If you go to harrys.com/JCE right now, you're going to get that razor. Actually, the cartridge is different than the razor handle and the cartridge. It all goes together. You're going to get the whole thing. You're not going to have to take just one of these cartridges and just rake it over your face. This handle is beautiful. And the foaming shave gel and the travel cover, $3, and the option to do more things to make yourself smell and look good, which would benefit a significant portion of the current public today. Harrys.com/JCE.
That's right, Harry's.
Thank you, Mr. Energy.
Well, Jim, like the Energizer Bunny, Raw rolls on or stomps on or marches on, energizes on.
It's wait a minute. Do I have drums here? What kind of drums? Well, that's not really it. That's a drum roll. Remember
that's a lot of energy. That's Buddy Rich.
A lot of energy there. The Energizer Bunny had the drum, and it was beating the drum as it walked along. The little stuffed bunny, the cute bunny.
The Energizer Bunny was no Gene Krupa. That's what I always say.
Well, they didn't have time in those short commercials to really go into a fucking Buddy Rich kind of thing. You know, it was clang, clang, clang. But they're good batteries, the Energizer batteries. Diehards, actually. There was a place in Chicago I used to know that would hook various parts of your body up to a Sears Diehard battery for a small fee.
Do people get to watch? Is it a show where you pay a ticket to watch this person stupidly electrocute themselves, or is this just for the personal gratification of the batterized?
I don't know. There was a mirror on the wall, and there was stadium seating on the other side of it.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
I'm not sure what... but anyway, Raw rolled on, and we got to see the not the culmination, but the match where New Day and OJ, Odyssey Jones, had to work as a cohesive unit. And, of course, Odyssey Jones, as we talked about earlier, is not Xavier Woods' favorite guy, even though Kofi likes him. And so we got this whole thing of who's going to get kicked out of the clubhouse. Oh, the Judgment Day have a clubhouse. Maybe this is what is this? A boys club, a tree house, a goddamn quilting bee? I don't know what the fuck they're joining here, but You don't like this is almost an AEW angle, I'm thinking now. You don't like my friend. I'm not friends with your friend. But somebody who's nobody's friend, Karrion Kross and the AOP were their opponents in the six-man tag. You know what AOP stands for? Awfully overpushed at this point.
And they're barely pushed, so that's really saying something.
The fact that they're on television is a push that should be pulled. But anyway, Odyssey Jones won a six-man tag team match, and Xavier Woods has to, be kind of reluctantly applauding him and etc. Then we went to the invisible camera. I'm glad that, who was it? Alexander Pepperday.
Pepperday.
Brought the invisible camera phrase or nom de plume out into the open, because that's what it is. When Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were having the deep heart-to-heart talk in the back, 6 feet away from a fucking TV camera. The invisible camera. I don't like the priest. I don't like the priest. I don't like.
But those
priest.
nuns are all right.
Well, hey, they kind of take anything they can get, because it's not like they're getting a lot of fucking attention in those areas. Anyway, nevertheless, the point is, Priest or Rhea, the calm, the heart-to-heart talks, the kind of conversation, the thing we have noted before, blah. I want to see Rhea go out there and fucking be Rhea bloody Ripley. Of course, that sounds more like Mom's Mabley.
It sounded nothing like Mom's Mabley in any way.
Well, it sounded more like Mom's Mabley than it did like Rhea Ripley. So
Rhea bloody Ripley!
That sounded like Vince introducing Aretha Franklin at WrestleMania 3.
What did Aretha think? No one's ever asked her, what did you think when you heard this maniac?
And now that's a question that will go unanswered forever. What did you think of the maniac that introduced you in front of all those people at the wrestling thing?
You know what my favorite part of Aretha Franklin's involvement with WrestleMania 3 is? That the negotiation to get her there with, I guess it would have been Arista Records, led to the montage video at the end over the credits being Who's Zooming Who, which is a underrated late, Aretha Franklin hit, because she didn't really have any hits after that. So you get to watch, Billy Jack Haynes all bloodied up by Hercules hitting him with the chain, to Who's Zooming Who, and all the other great moments. You'll never see it again because it's edited off the network, because whatever deal they had ended that day. But, yeah, if you go watch the pay-per-view when it first aired or had it on VHS, Who's Zooming Who? See, that's a reason to keep your VHSs, kids. That's right.
But anyway, the no DQ match between Bronson Reed and The Miz. Brian, did you peruse this or skip to the finish like I did?
Yeah, again, it's a 3-hour show. There's so much going on. I like Bronson Reed, though. I like everything they're doing with him. I was surprised that they did this match with The Miz this week. But whatever gets Bronson Reed over, they're doing a better job than anything they've done since he's been up there. So,
well, yeah, and that's why I wanted to see the finish. Obviously, I wanted to make sure they hadn't gone out of their minds. But the match was the tables, the chairs, the kendo sticks, the garbage cans, the caca, and that, so we get to the point. Bronson Reed won with the splash, which is over as fuck now because of what they've done. Imagine that. Stretcher some people out and give them some internal injuries with a simple fucking move, and simple move becomes over. And in this case, he goes for a second one, and they play music, and here comes Brown Strongman. And they have a big face-off, and then they just cut to a promo in the back with Sheamus. But I don't want to see a Strongman anywhere around Bronson Reed right now. Let him keep squashing fucking jabronis and peons and or other mid-level talent. He can't put a main eventer out every week.
However, what if this leads to him doing what he's done to the giant Braun Strowman? Because this is the build-up. You got to think everything is to kind of build up Seth Rollins eventually returning and fighting a Bronson Reed that means so much more now than he did a few months ago. So it's not, the long term isn't for him to lose to Braun Strowman is to lose to Seth Rollins. Is Braun someone that makes him a little stronger to get past to get to Rollins?
Only if he just splashes him and nothing else. Because if they have a match first, it will be detrimental. Because...
does it hurt him if someone does power moves to him right now?
Well, especially when the guy's a foot taller than he is and fucking 50 or 60 pounds heavier. I mean, they're the old... Everybody always used to try to book the Road Warriors against other big Warlord and Barbarian or Powers of Pain. Well, they were the Powers of Pain, but you know what I'm saying. They wanted to see them against the big monsters, they thought. But then, as you look back in retrospect, in hindsight, the Road Warriors drew more money against the Tullys and Arns and the Midnight Expresses, the little heels with a lot of heat that could take bumps for the big guys. Because then when, I don't think that Bronson Reed versus Mr. Strawman, whatever the fuck his name is going to be any kind of a good match to showcase how big of a fucking monster beast that Bronson Reed is. Even now, if he splashes him at the end, then just splash him. Don't have the fucking match. I think that would help Bronson Reed more.
All right, well, back to SmackDown.
No, this is Raw.
That's right.
That's right. At 10 o'clock, we had Priest and Dominic. That was the big match. But, as one would imagine, the Judgment Day was there as soon as Priest is coming out in the aisleway. Boom, there's Carlito and Finn and JD Funko. And Priest beats all three of them up. And then has a face-off with Dominic in the ring. And then they did the deal where Rhea came in the ring behind Dominic. And he realizes he turns around, oh shit, and she headbutts him. And then Priest grabs Dominic and shit cans him, telling her to clear off the desk. And Rhea grabs him and she's going to give him the riptide through the desk when there's Liv Morgan with a chair. Boom! And nails Rhea. And remember, we were just talking about she doesn't have to wait till the pay-per-view to get her hands on Dominic.
Right.
Remember I said you can do something where she gets him and gets some element of satisfaction, but then gets stopped before a big thing that would take the heat off of him and you can put more on him. So this was an example of that. She got to strike the fucking blow. Then she got to grab him for the finish and the intent was there, but that fucking Liv Morgan. That's the idea. This is fucking perfect. And then all of the guys jump Priest and Liv beats Rhea up on the desk. And then they hold Priest and make him watch while Liv runs Rhea's bad shoulder into the post and throws her over the desk and into the stairs and another post. And then Finn gives that double stomp to Priest and Liv hits her finisher on Rhea Ripley. And then Daddy Dom, gives Priest the frog splash. All of this was fucking perfect. There's one thing wrong with it, and possibly the young folks today don't even notice or care. Nobody was trying to stop any of this.
And clearly the fans thought someone was because they were chanting yeet, because it's been established that Rhea and Jey Uso got along. I think fans were expecting that, but that's not the direction they went.
Well, but even there should have been a referee in the ring because it was supposed to be a match. There are no referees, no security. They establish security will come out when guys are signing a contract instantly if somebody turns the table over when they want them to. But nobody's coming when this goes on for so long. So if you had structured it to where there's 5 Judgment Day felons.
They're not felons. Hold on. They're not felons. There are no convictions.
These criminals, these misfits, there's 5 of them.
Thugs,
miscreants, hooligans.
Hooligans.
So when they attack in the aisleway, couldn't we have 2 or 3 referees? They come, oh shit, and they get shoved and they get, flung away, not pile driven or whatever. And then once that the baby faces look like they've got Dominic, well, then maybe security could come out, but not even fucking jump in because what the fuck, nobody's doing anything. And then it breaks loose again. Well, now you've got the fucking, as Rhea's going for the thing on the floor, you got the security people trying to come in, but no, there's Liv with a chair, so they go to them, but there's 4 of the fucking heel guys, and they throw them away, and then they do the shit they're doing, and then send a couple of agents, and send a few people in staggering, times that not just 20 people that are going to overwhelm the thing, but it looks like somebody's realizing this shit's happening in real time and coming out trying to do something, and it gets wiped out or fucking shoved away or packed into a large box, whatever the fucking case. But otherwise, great fucking performance by everybody. Well, did you notice that until I brought it up?
I mean, I noticed that no one came out to save them, but you break it down better than everyone.
But you don't have to even stop them. Just have somebody look like they're trying and let them get away with what they're supposed to get away with. And, anyway. And then they did a promo in the back. Did you see the Judgment Day? They were gloating over what they just done, but it was a camera with a dirty lens. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. It stood out. You don't usually see that. You wonder if
yes.
The first thought you have is it me? And then it's like, it can't be me. What the hell? How could it be me?
I bet they had shot something back in the back maybe and flung some, I don't know, goddamn, something from the concession stand or whatever on the lens, and nobody remembered to wipe it or something, but it was like, what the fuck? It's like they were shooting it through a dirty window with shit dripping off of it. Anyway, speaking of looking at something through a dirty window with shit dripping off of it, the next match was a girls' triple threat tag team match. Playa. So, then Michael Cole bid adieu for now, so long for now, down the highways and byways until we see you again, to Pat McAfee, who's going to be off Raw for the football season. Can you imagine how much money McAfee is making when he's going from football to the WWE to whatever the fuck else he does? He's in demand, and they played the Pat McAfee highlight video, which he stands on the desk a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, a lot. Screams a lot, waves his arms around a lot, stands on a desk a lot. A lot of screaming, but mostly screaming.
The screaming is no. Pat's good. We like Pat. Come on. Poor old Pat. Hey, at least he's got enthusiasm. He's a very enthusiastic fucking salesman for the show here. And then we got to Randy Orton and Ludwig Kaiser. And, again, excellent work from both guys. I like that because they're both excellent workers. I like that they've made Kaiser more serious as a threat, as himself rather than just Gunther's stooge. And Orton's a perfect guy to be able to stay over but still make another guy, look more effective, and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, Kaiser is thin for this roster bodily. He's in great shape, but he's thin. But next to the AEW guys, I think he might look like Lex Luger, because at least he's got something there. He can fill out a little bit. Orton would look like Andre, though. But anyway, they had a good match, but what can you say? This is the prelude to getting Randy together with Gunther. And so Orton came back with his belly backs onto the desk, and they did a bit of back and forth, and then Orton hit him with a superplex, a DDT, and an RKO it took to put the man away. Not that he was kicking out of all of those things. He hit him with 3 things in a row and beat him, so that's the way to do it. And then Gunther slides in, and they go to Fist City as we go off the air. And that was the big finish of Raw. But they don't need anything else. The building in Berlin, I assume, is sold out, right?
I don't know. I could check, but I would assume.
I would have think. You would have think. That's the wrong accent. No. It's I would think.
I don't know if that's the way they talk over there anymore.
They would be sold out. Well, that's the way Major Hochstetter talked to Colonel Klink.
Right. Like I said, I don't think that's the way they talk over there now.
Are you saying that a guy named Werner Kemplerer wasn't German?
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, then as far as I'm concerned, German people sounds like Colonel Klink.
Sounds like someone on TV 50 years ago.
Well,
portraying someone in real life years earlier.
Actually, it was almost 60 now, but who's counting? But nevertheless, I assume they're sold out in Berlin in the arena, and we know they're getting just a large amount of money from the people over at the Cock to put this thing on the air, and one would assume that the pay-per-view around the world is sold out. You can't order any more of the pay-per-views. They won't take any more of your money. They feel badly about it. So they don't really need to do any bigger of an angle than this, do they?
Not really. I mean, I think they do, like you said, they do enough. They do what they have to do, and you get through these shows, and every now and then you get one, you're like, man, that's a great episode. They had one just recently, and then sometimes you're just happy if you get a good segment or two, and there's a lot of things slowly moving until next week.
Slowly I turned. Step by step, inch by inch, I crept up on the pay-per-view.
What do Rhea and Priest need to do? A guy and a girl against a gang of 4 guys. Well, with Liv, so that equals...
Well, no, four people and a woman is what you're saying.
What would I say? 4 people and a woman, and also it was 4 people and Paul Heyman once, I believe.
Yeah, at one time it was, but we know what you're trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is something very poor. No, what I'm trying to say is, do they get a new recruit? Do they just team up with another existing babyface? What do you do right now with this? Is this a chance to bring someone in and elevate them? What do you see?
For this particular match coming up, I'm thinking the baby faces should go over, but that doesn't mean that's the end of the program. They can get heat after, or they can do something or whatever. But I think, it's going to be somewhat of this is Rhea's big return. I'm not worried about Priest as much, but this is Rhea's big return. From her injury, correct? The first big show she's been on. Am I missing something? Have I had a brain tumor?
Well, Rhea's she wrestled at SummerSlam. She lost to Liv Morgan.
Oh, God, that's right.
Dominic revealed himself as being a swine.
Yes, okay, then I do have a brain tumor. Thank you for bringing that. But, well, then in that case, yes, Rhea needs to win something here pretty soon. So I think they could probably...
speaking of brain tumors, I don't know if you remember earlier we were talking about you signing over some stuff to an LLC I've created in Wyoming.
Yes, but I've decided instead to go down to Calabasas County. And I've received some good legal advice that there's a sucker that can be plumbed over there. But anyway, so the point is Rhea's coming back from all of this, of the injury, the loss. I would think that the mixed tag team match, you might want to make the people happy in the finish, but then it's somehow either then or the Raw the night after, whatever the case, continue with some heat on the heels. To your question about all of the guys, I don't think they need another. They got the bloodline A and B, or blood type O and type O negative, whatever the fuck it is. Do they need to have gang wars? Isn't that an AEW thing? Rhea and Damian are friends, and you can have a mixed tag, but that doesn't mean that Damian is going to suddenly, start being a mixed tag team wrestler only. Rhea wants the singles title. These people are intertwined for now, but I don't think they need to go packing Priest and Ripley's side with a bunch of people, rather than in some way or another. I would think Finn and JD would be the tag team that they'd be looking toward for the future. But at the same time, Priest and Finn have to finish their conflict somewhere. Maybe they just say two of them didn't make their fucking plane because they're not booked or whatever. And hopefully we don't have, like you said, 4 guys running in on a guy and a girl, even if it's Rhea. Although I would bet on Rhea at least against 2 of the fucking, yeah, there you go.
All right, well, there you go. And that was Raw. And I believe this is still in some way my show. I apologize for any noise. It's coming from somewhere.
Oh, God.
We don't know where. I'm not blaming. I'm not pointing any fingers or placing any blame. Except that it's in the air somewhere.
I am currently...
That's what it is. It's a current. I hear some sort of current.
I'm currently in an empty room. Hold on. I'm taking my headphones off.
They put you back in the room?
I'm in an empty room. There's not even a fan going. And my air conditioning is on, but it's going to stay on because it's in the 80s outside today.
Yeah, see, it's something over here, and it's either something in the air or my tinnitus. I just checked.
Do you have a tinnitus checker?
I checked I took my headphones off. That was my big check. I took the headphones off. I was like, oh, I hear it still. So
if you take a standard food thermometer and stick it in the ear with tinnitus, then if you get a temperature of between 94 and 96, then that means you need to go see a doctor.
You know, the last time you told me to do that, the doctor told me I did everything wrong.
Well, that's because you were using one of those rectal thermometers. I'm talking about a food thermometer. Anyway, where would you like to go from here with your show, pal?
Yeah, I don't know. We've gone. This was the surreal moment of the show. I don't know what we're doing. We're killing time because there's Dynamite, and it was.
I want to talk about it. But we can talk about some of our other friends first.
Would you like to talk about some of our other friends?
It's up to you. We've got some great friends.
Tell me about your friends.
Well, what about our friends over at DraftKings?
That's right.
You know, because we haven't mentioned that they're back. They're friends with us again.
If you asked me to wager on what friend you were talking about, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. But thank you for taking us there to talk about our good friends at DraftKings.
Well, it happened to be up on my screen at the time because this email screens keep getting larger and larger. But apparently, college football is coming back. Were you aware of this, Brian?
Of course I'm aware of it. Everyone's aware of it.
Well, apparently a lot of the colleges had fun doing it last year, so they've got together amongst themselves and said they're going to do it again this year. And now apparently it's starting again. It's week 1, and there's a big matchup in Atlanta, I'm told, here between the preseason number 1 and number 16. Now, does that seem fair to you, Brian? That number 1 would fight number 16. Wouldn't number 1 fight number 2 or 3 or 4? Let 16 fight 14 or 15 and make it more even. It's a bunch of big fucking bullies. Who are these number 1 motherfuckers going around picking on these little guys?
Well, the season's just starting, so number 16 could become number 1 if they kick the shit out of number 1 and a couple of other teams, too.
Well, if they could kick the shit out of number 1, they wouldn't be number 16, would they?
They haven't had a chance yet. We have to get the season going. That's what we're talking about, the start of the season, the college football season.
How are they just arbitrarily assigning people these numbers if they haven't even fought yet?
Well, it's based on projections, based on thoughts, based on all sorts of diagrams and statistics. Of course, analytics. Well, you can't forget about all these things.
Have any of the people on these teams actually had a fight and see who's tougher?
I mean, they fight sometimes. The members of the actual team fight, not like the 2 different teams fight each other.
Well, I think before the season starts, they ought to send a bunch of these teams out and let this guy or this team fight this team and the other team fight the other team. And whoever kicks the shit out of who, they ought to be number 1. And then they shouldn't have number 1 fighting number 16 because that's not fair. They would smear the earth with them. You know what? Go to DraftKings right now, folks. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and bet on number 1 to kick the shit out of number 16. And it sounds like theoretically most of the time you'd be right. I guess somebody could get a hit in the balls and fucking drop over and start puking. But it's apparently going to be the biggest college football season to date, at least as far as DraftKings is concerned. And they've got expanded playoffs. Is that where they have more chance to give each other brain contusions?
Well, again, you're going down a road that If you're a
Well,
fan
I'm
of
just
football, you
thinking
may
of these things.
not want to think about the things that will be
If you're-
happening to the brains of the stars that you love.
If you're expanding these playoffs, they're going to have more games where they're going to run headfirst into each other like a bunch of fucking those news, aren't they? The GNUS aren't they the news that have the horns and ram into each other? Possibly, I'm thinking of Newfoundlands, but anyway, they're going to have a heck of a time running at each other headfirst this season in colleges all over the world. They're going to teach them during the day, and then they're going to kill their brain cells at night until they come out even, folks. And if you go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the code JCE, holy mackerel, do you know, Brian, how much money they're going to give people this time? I don't know how they stay in business. If you're a new DraftKings customer, if you bet $5 on whatever the case, probably on number one, then you'll get $250 in bonus bets instantly. So then you could sprinkle half of that into number one and half of that into number 16 just for shits and giggles. And, well, theoretically, you got to win something, don't you? Do they have draws in college football?
I guess.
Would that be a loophole? Do they have disqualifications, count-outs?
Well, I mean, it could be a weather-related stoppage.
Well, that's an act of God, then. Wouldn't you get your money back?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
How much money are we talking?
Well, you're $5. And then the $250 that you get, that you bet 125 on one team, 125 on the other team, you're pretty much guaranteed a victory unless there's a draw or a count out or a double count out or whatever. So how would you lose?
What was the question? How would you lose? Well, unless there's a weather-related issue?
Well, that's God. Then DraftKings would ask God for their money back, wouldn't they?
Well, God's good at collecting. He's not really good at handing it out.
He can't handle money. That's the thing. But nevertheless, folks, DraftKings Sportsbook app can handle your money right now. If you use the code JCE and you're a new customer, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 right there, only on DraftKings. The crown, Brian, the crown is yours when you are a draft king. Apparently that would mean you're the king of a draft. And these are the draft kings. Now, the question is, what was that fella's name that did this for us the last time the DraftKings was with us?
That's a very good question, and the answer to your question is I don't know if that is the same read as the one we have here.
Oh, believe me, I believe it is, but
it is?
I'll go ahead anyway. Do you want to hear it?
You are a good man, yes. I think
you like to hear it? Here it goes. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, parenthetically 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. That's the whole sentence, folks. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance and not a second more. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
That's impressive, man.
Well, it's your show.
Well, all right, let's move on here with the show, and I assume the next thing we'll be talking about is the wonderful ride to England to Wales, that was AEW Dynamite.
That's what the heels were trying to do to get heat, calling them England. I bet the Welsh people, the Fullers nor the Welches like that kind of talk. and what this is where. Was this where Tom Jones was from or where Engelbert Humperdinck was from? I keep getting that confused.
Tom Jones?
Oh, you don't know off the top of your head?
I think I'm double checking, but this is set. Oh, I wrote Ton. Excuse me. Let me go Tom. Some other guy came up and says
he worked outlaw.
Some other guy came up and says Clinton Jones, an actor. I don't know who this guy is. Sorry, Clinton, but I meant to say Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
He is from the United Kingdom. He's from.
But is he from Wales?
It says here. Actually, no, it does say actually he's from Treforest, Wales.
Well, there you go. I thought that was the case.
It didn't say that on the other page. But yes.
Engelbert Humperdinck is an American name. I should have known that. Whereas Tom Jones, you can tell right away he's one of them. But anyway, the people of Wales, they're a proud people. They had Tom Jones. They had Tony Charles. They had Adrian Street. So, there's 3 people I can think of, right? Can you think of any more famous Walesmen?
Welshmen.
Either them either.
I feel like we're forgetting someone.
I didn't say that was all I knew. I just asked you to come up with one.
I can't think off the top of my head, no.
Well, you can see why the people over there are so proud. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to alienate you folks. It's just for the sake of the humor in the bit. They had a decent crowd. It was a mid-sized arena. Probably looked like a hockey arena type of setup. And if they weren't full, they made it look respectable. It wasn't a 20,000-seat NBA arena where they, had to cordon off 7/8 of it. And these people, because we've talked about these people, but the people over there that don't see as many TV tapings or TV broadcasts or don't see as many pay-per-views or don't see as many shows in general from the quote-unquote American promotions, and they're especially more hardcore, online-oriented people, so they were willing to either like all this stuff or just be polite and not say anything. Would you categorize that as the crowd for the evening?
I was wondering what to expect because we've seen all these singing European crowds all across the continent and even on the island of England and of course all their friends in over here now.
And Madagascar, don't forget them.
That's right. We've seen all these singing fan bases and there were times here and certain specific people that really seem to get the crowd going, but it's kind of the same thing that's plagued AEW here in America, where the crowds get deadly silent for a lot of the show.
I think they were being polite rather than rolling their eyes verbally. But when we get to the ratings, you'll tell me because I have no foreknowledge yet. But Jesus, to start this thing out, if Britt Baker and Mercedes Mone are your 2 big stars that you want to start your national television program at Go Home Show for the Wembley Stadium event with these 2, you're in trouble. They've agreed, by the way, Brian, when they come out for the contract signing for the match that's going to take place in 4 days. They've been advertising for a month. We'll ignore all of these loops because the WWE does the same thing. One would think they'd have these things locked down, right? But they've agreed to no physicality. So that's all it takes. Just, okay, guys, promise. They're picking and choosing. Later on, MJF and Osprey have been forced to agree to no physicality, or elsewise they'll be fined. But here they've just agreed to no physicality, so they're going to honor their word. Do you see the inconsistencies?
Yes.
And then sometimes they apparently don't have to agree because they always beat the shit out of each other. And still nothing bad happens to them. So I don't know. But anyway, they need to get these 2 to talk to each other. And you can tell that Mercedes genuinely believes that she's a big star. There's somebody put a quote up on Twitter the other day from an interview she'd done with a podcast or whatever, where she's, "Oh, it's so hectic doing all this press. See, that's the way she talks. It sounds just like her, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so hectic doing all this press that sometimes I don't even have time to go home and pack. So I just send one of my team to a local mall to get the necessities. What the fuck? So anyway, in the Attitude Era, there were 10 million people watching The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin trash talk each other and beat the shit out of each other. And now it's 600,000 people watching two girls have a 10-minute scripted argument about whose initials are more important. And Britt was a great heel promo because she was obnoxiously bitchy in a productive for the business way, rather than Mercedes, who apparently is just obnoxiously bitchy. I don't fucking know. But this sounded, when she's a babyface, it sounded like she was running for office and speaking at the Rotary Club. And I was a foundational pillar, and yes, you paved the way for girls like me to want to dream. I was, what the fuck? Ah, damn it. And while Britt's doing that, the other thinks she's Meryl fucking Streep. And so was it. Anyway, I'll get to the point of the thing, and then I'll open the floor to you, Brian. But Britt said, well, I agreed I wasn't going to hit Mercedes. But Camille is standing there, who has done absolutely fuck all of nothing to anybody, right?
Right.
She has not even looked, I don't know if she looked sideways at anybody, but she hadn't touched, wasn't threatening anybody. So she says, I promise I wouldn't hit you, Mercedes, but this bitch is getting on my nerves. And bops her in the head with a microphone. Well, now, Camille is wearing high heel shoes with heels so high and so thin that it looks like she's a stilt walker in that padded ring that bounces a bit. I don't know how she was standing up straight to begin with in a ring in these shoes, but the point is, for the spot that they're about to do, boy, it sounded great in rehearsal. When they either talked about it or they actually did it, but people weren't wearing fucking shoes. I don't know what the fuck, but Camille, I love Camille. She's got a great look. She's wonderful. She's fabulous. She's excellent. Do not wear high heels, even if you look a little shorter, if you have to do physical shit in the ring. Either it will look like this or you'll break your fucking ankle. But when Britt bops Camille, she's got to stagger, but she's trying to stagger in high heels. And then Britt throws the contract folder at Mercedes, and she has to do the flummox thing. Oh, I can't see. And then Britt bounces Camille's head off the desk, and Camille has to kind of back up and sit in Mercedes's lap. And then now they're both in the comfortable office chair that they put in for the contract signing. And Britt's deal is she's going to get up on the table, the desk, whatever, and dive off and crossbody both of them in the chair. And it'll look lovely because they'll go over backwards and wow, right? But no, because for one thing, certainly to God, they can't have walked through this. For one thing, if they were going to do that spot, they needed to have, for some reason, that they could have easily done with a little set dressing of a fucking, a sign placard holder or something. They needed to have the table a little further than plumb in the middle. Because not only is Camille on stilts trying to fucking awkwardly sit down on Mercedes, but Mercedes also reacted when the thing was thrown at her, and the chair is on wheels. It's not like a folding chair where you can go over backwards and it's going to go because it's got wheels and there's a bigger base, so they needed more room. But when Mercedes went back, then Camille sat on her, and then Britt dives off. Britt's momentum caused the wheels to just continue going backward. There was no tipping point over because it hit the ropes and they all just fell in a goddamn heap. Did that describe what you saw adequately?
Somewhat. I mean, adequately? I don't know if I would apply that word to any of this here.
Well, I have the description. If they'd have had a little more room and if Camille could have sat down and had a chance to lean back a little bit because both of them needed to push off with their feet when Britt was coming from a higher angle rather than straight on, and then they could have tipped the thing, but it didn't work. And sometimes these things don't work, but the heels made Camille look klutzy, and otherwise, this was lengthy. Your thoughts?
This was lengthy. Again, I hate when people all of a sudden go to the "you inspired me" thing. Especially when it's someone who doesn't look like they're much older than you are. If they are even older, I don't even know how old Sasha Banks is compared to Britt Baker.
Well, finish your thought and then look it up.
But that thing, you're not the person you used to be. I looked up to you when I was 20. When did she look up to her exactly? How old was she when she was looking up to her? So that stuff sucks. Britt Baker trying to be like more and more like Stone Cold Steve Austin every week is a bit ridiculous. She's like, it's like a countdown to her next injury. And when Britt Baker was clearly setting up that something was about to happen, she guaranteed she wouldn't hit Mercedes Mone. Camille was like leaning in, waiting for it.
Yeah. Well, she was examining the signature on the contract.
They put it here at the front of the show. This isn't the first time where they put the women where they traditionally have the most audience, both because of Big Bang Theory and just grace. If you're going to check out the show, even if you're not going to watch it, you may check it out at 8 o'clock and see what it is. They're trying to get this shit over. I'll give Toni credit, because that's the only way you could justify any of these salaries. They're trying, but, and you know what? I am intrigued to see what the match will be. I actually am intrigued. Is it going to be like the Toni Storm Sariah debacle on this show? Like, what is this going to be? This is not the WWE. This is AEW. What will this women's match be? I'm intrigued. And, Britt Baker doesn't need Jamie Hayter. She could beat up everyone by herself.
Well, now, come on. Sooner or later, if they get another 5 or 6 girls on the other side, then Britt might need help. But, speaking of needing help, I've never met this young man that we're about to talk about. And I hate that I have to say the things I have to say. But goddamn, Chris Jericho, they're in Cardiff, Wales. And he's wrestling Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid. And I know many people out there who didn't see this show were saying to themselves, what the fuck? Apparently this young man is legitimately, and you can tell facially, this young man is the nephew of Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid. And so he is wrestling as Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid. And he's wearing the jacket and the trunks of the Union Jack, right? On the trunks. That's what the name for the flag over there, correct?
The Union Jack.
The Union Jack. Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's got the flag there. He's doing the moves. He's trying to do the moves. Why would you do that? It's like calling yourself fucking Robert Plant and trying to go out and sing all the fucking Led Zeppelin leads, isn't it?
But you're bald.
But what? Yeah, I mean, or Freddie Mercury. Hey, I'll be Freddie Mercury.
The thing is, there is a resemblance to Dynamite Kid, and he is in the family of the Dynamite Kid. The problem is the resemblance is Dynamite Kid like before he left England in 1976.
Well, no, not even that. No, because now be fair here.
Before he got to Calgary, Dynamite Kid.
No, never Dynamite. Because here's the thing. I don't know how old this young man is, but he's got a receding hairline. And I know Dynamite got a bit thin too, but it don't look good on this guy. but nobody looks like the Dynamite Kid physically. Even when he was thin, he was toned. But think about, I'm not talking about the 1984, jacked up, juiced up WWF Dynamite Kid. I'm talking about 1981 and Tiger Mask. Because he was, was he 5'9"? Was he 200 pounds? But my God, he looked like he could physically run from here to fucking Cleveland. He was in it, and you could tell his physique. He was incredible, and his cardio and the snap he had and everything. This was live wrestling karaoke. The kid has no physique and the receding hairline on a guy who, without Dynamite's aura and personality and intensity, it looked like a kid being Dynamite for Halloween. Am I being too harsh on this?
Well, the other problem, and again, I've not seen him too much. I heard rave reviews about a match he had with Dax Harwood, I want to say in Calgary. I didn't see it, but I heard a lot of good things about it. I saw maybe clips
goddamn, with Dax Harwood.
With Dax Harwood, exactly.
Rave reviews about a fucking plumber that wandered in, maybe too close to the bone there, Moxley.
That's yet to be proven. Yeah, that was
some fucking accountant could wander in and have a match with Dax, but go ahead.
The other problem was, notwithstanding whatever talent he has or doesn't have or whatever he'll be with some more conditioning and training or whatever it may be, Jericho looked like a giant next to him.
Yes.
And because of that, some of the back and forth shit looked ridiculous, because it's one thing if he's working with a Jack Perry or a Darby Allin, one of the slighter wrestlers. Jericho looked like a giant next to him. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Dynamite was 5'9", 5'10". This, obviously, Jericho's...
No, you think so? I would guess 5'6", 5'7", maybe.
No, he was the same height as Davey, wasn't he?
I think he was a little shorter than Davey.
Was he? Well, nevertheless, he carried it well. This kid looked like, I don't know. I think the real Dynamite Kid would have been appalled at him throwing the whiff punches. But that's the thing. You can't do... Nobody... Benoit could work like Dynamite Kid in many ways. In some fashions, his shit looked comparable. Has anybody else ever really gotten close enough to, it's not an insult or it's not something that's going to make people laugh at you, to call yourself the Dynamite Kid? Whether you're in the family or not. Jesus. Anyway, the finish, of course, the kid's going to go to the top for the diving headbutt, but then suddenly just dove off on Brian Keith, who I don't think had done a goddamn thing. But it's a cool spot.
It looked good. He wiped him out. It looked good.
Yeah. It, of course, it made no sense. He could have won the match. But then he goes back to the top rope without doing anything to Jericho. So apparently he thought he had some time. Maybe he could have pinned the guy. But nevertheless, he dives off on Brian Keith. He goes up to the top rope again, but he's in a different corner. And Jericho's laying there. And as he sees the guy starting to climb the wrong corner, you see his right arm as he sticks his fucking index finger out and points like, over there. And I saw him, but Dynamite Kid didn't. So Jericho then has to squirm on his back like an upturned turtle to fucking turn around so that Dynamite Kid can come off that fucking top rope. And Jericho jumped up and caught him with the code breaker, kind of. Because it looked more like he just jumped up and the other guy landed on him and they both fell in a fucking heap. But they called it the code breaker. 1, 2, 3. And I wrote, Jesus. But no. I mean, I put it in music terms. I'll put it in fucking wrestling terms. If you're going to call if you were David Flair, and you had decided, no, I'm going to call myself Nature Boy Ric Flair, you would have to expect, if you can't pull it off, and nobody in the business today can pull off Dynamite Kid's shit without it being a bad homage, as we'll see later on with another top talent. Don't do that. Be his nephew. Use hey, there's Eddie Billington. And be the fucking the English bulldog. I don't fucking know. Don't let Harry Smith fucking kick your ass, whatever. But you see what I'm saying?
Should they team him up with Harry Smith?
I don't think Harry Smith would want to team with this fucking guy.
You would have two different sized bulldogs for kids to meet.
Jesus Christ, you'd have a bulldog and a chihuahua.
Come on. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, Dynamite Kid's nephews Thomas and Mark have become professional wrestlers trained by Marty Jones. They were the Billington Bulldogs.
How old are they?
They don't have their own Wikipedia page as of now, so there's no way to determine that.
Well, if he's not in his 30s, then he's not very well preserved at all.
Should they book him against Tatsumi Fujinami?
Well, how old would Fujinami be now? About 70?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
It might be even. I don't know. I think Fujinami still might have a little edge on him. But I mean, no, just Dynamite, for anything anybody can say good, bad, or indifferent about him as a human being, was one of the most unique, intense, incredible physical talents that was ever in wrestling. And you just can't follow that. You can't call yourself that.
He was a game changer. And I guess that's the issue. If you are a member of his family and you do want to get into the wrestling business and you do look like him, what do you do? Because, I mean, you don't want it to be like a Braun Breaker kind of thing where he's like, I'm not Tom Billington, I'm, Tom Steele, or whatever the fuck.
Well, no, yeah, like I said, use Billington, but what's his name? Tom what? Tommy
Billington. Tommy Billington.
Well, then change your fucking first name. Acknowledge the connection, but don't do a karaoke tribute act where it's his style specifically and nothing that he didn't do. And because you don't do any of those things as well as he did. Not that anybody could, but this kid is not doing a lot of the things even passably. If he did his own shit, maybe he would look better.
Well, that's the thing. We've heard that in the past unfairly applied to people like, I think even FTR, where people say, oh, they're a tribute act to the old tag teams. I don't think it really applies.
No, that was incorrect because they were doing tag team moves from throughout the ages, but they were doing them as good or better. And that's, research and adaptation, but go ahead.
But in this case, it literally did look like a tribute act because he's wearing the same trunks. He's trying to do the same moves, even though he's not the same. He doesn't have the same build or anything. So, I don't know what they do with that.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do anything with it from now on, at least in AEW, because he worked the show, I would imagine, because he lives there. But
I thought they signed him.
What?
Hold on, Tommy Billington.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Hold on.
What the hell?
Hold on.
You gotta give me a hat so I can throw it on the ground.
I have a report here. Hold on, let's see what this is. According to Fightful, this is recently. The talent we spoke to also claimed there was NXT interest in the 23-year-old Billington.
23? Jesus Christ!
We asked about the whereabouts of Mark Billington and were told that he was injured in December during a match for Dungeon Wrestling. All Elite Wrestling has not confirmed the signing, and we have not heard if the deal is full-time or a tiered per-appearance deal. That apparently was reported by Fightful. So some sort of deal with AEW.
Well, I'm just going to say this, and we will move on because what?
They have the images here of the two other matches I guess he's had there, him against Dax and him against Takeshita, and in each one of them he's wearing different trunks, and they're the same trunks that Dynamite wore in New Japan. You would recognize them right away. The purple one with the star on the ass and the white racing strip, and then the red one with the white racing strip. The same trunk. So I've seen him wear 3 different pairs of trunks, and they were all Dynamites.
I'm just going to say this, and like I said, the segment's not over yet. The match was, but not the segment. But I had 20 guys in Ohio Valley Wrestling at one time that didn't have WWE developmental contracts that were more physically impressive, in better physical shape and cardio shape, more cosmetically pleasing, whether it be oiled or tanned or just young looking, of proper fucking size that could outwork this fucking guy and call it in the goddamn ring. And that is partially to make the OVW class look special because they were, but also to illustrate that no, there's nothing right now that I'm seeing there that they could not find plentifully domestically without having to fucking hire this guy and fly him across the goddamn ocean. What the fuck? All righty. And it's embarrassing for him. I feel bad for him because people are sitting there going, oh, bullshit.
I'm always critical of Jericho's work. In this case, like, that wasn't I was just blown away by how much bigger he was than him. And then when you see them competing with each other, it wasn't, I'm not saying a small guy. Jericho's a small guy. It's funny saying that about someone against him, but I'm not saying a small guy can't compete with a bigger wrestler, but it can't be like we're just equals doing equal shit to each other, and you happen to kick out, and I didn't.
Well, besides that, if he was the same height as Jericho, it had that same pale, fishy, white fucking body and looked like a goddamn corpse floating in a fucking river, Jericho could still beat him up. Jericho's goddamn skin is turned to leather, but at least it's tanned.
And why did he do the splash on the Brian Keith? Does that explain why at that moment did he decide, this guy who's not interfering, let me get him?
Some indie-minded fucking guy said, hey, it'd be a cool spot if I do the dive, or he does the dive off the top and blisters that guy and then does the dive and gets caught, and not thinking it made no goddamn sense whatsoever. So what you do is right before you're going to do that, you set up a spot where Brian Keith popped up and got foiled and nailed off or whatever the case, trying to interfere, and then he's there. Or perhaps he even might have succeeded in interfering, but then he's there. Whatever. But he just dove because it's cool. Anyway, so then Jericho starts cutting a promo on Hook, and Hook's music plays. And Hook comes out with the mummy wrap on half of his head and covering his eye, and the same stupid stocking cap on, just so we know it's not serious, because it looks stupid. And he gets in the ring, he goes face to face with Jericho, and Big Bill, who has been there up until a few minutes previous when Jericho started talking to somewhere he fucked off, comes back and gloms Hook from behind and gives him a choke slam, and his whole head wrapping fell off. And there's where he was burned in the eye with no scar or discoloration or patch or makeup.
It popped off. He got the choke slam and it just popped off the mat.
Yeah, so... but yeah, and again, for one thing, if it's a legitimate eye injury, they're going to have a round gauze or whatever the material is, patch taped there. There would also, one would hope, be then the wrapping on top of that, and potentially, if you had an injury bad enough to be wrapped up like goddamn Imhotep, then there would be some scarring or trace possibly of disinfectant, or do they make iodine anymore? Something, but not just, no, his head's wrapped up and there's not a goddamn blemish on him. He didn't even have a teenage pimple.
By the way, what did he think he was going to do? There was 3 of them.
Well, no, the other 2 had got out of the ring and hid somewhere.
They were there. They were at ringside the whole match.
Yeah, but then they were gone, and then they were back. You see, he's over there now. So anyway, that happened. At least it wasn't his head that popped off from the choke slam.
Well, that would have gotten ratings.
And then we came to another tribute. These AEW wrestlers, they love to do tributes to back in the old days, those who came before them. We just saw the Dynamite Kid. Now, here came Johnny Saint. Except playing the part of Johnny Saint was, well, I don't know, would it have been Toni Storm or would it have been Sariah? I guess Toni Storm was Saint and Sariah was Mark Rocco, or perhaps Marty Jones. And All of them are rolling over in their grave, and fucking Marty Jones isn't even dead yet. This was there. I mean, it was bad because it was the girls' match and Sariah's rotten, but it also made Twitter the next day because they tried to do the homage to the World of Sports style with an old bit of Johnny Saint business that, as a matter of fact, people then tweeted Johnny Saint doing similar shit. But it looked like two baby deer on a frozen pond. And at one point, Toni Storm just jumped up near, trying to leapfrog Paige, I think, from behind, and just sat right down on her fucking back with her big ass, and they just fell and rolled around and things. What? I was trying to start writing down what they were doing, but you couldn't really verbally say it. And then they did an awkward ass finish that I couldn't really write down, but it ended up with Toni Storm winning with a kiss and a pile driver. I don't know that those two things have ever been combinated like that before in wrestling, but what the fuck? They thought they were Billy Robinson and Tony Charles. Help me explain the humorousness of this.
I think reanimated Tony Charles and Billy Robinson would have been a lot smoother than this. This was bad. This was sloppy. It looked amateur. And Toni Storm's better than this. Sariah, we have not seen since she came back from her injury a display of athleticism or anything, like she, I guess, maybe had when she was younger and everyone said she had so much potential. She's not been good in the ring. And, early on, we heard that there were people who didn't want to work with her because they were afraid she would get hurt. And, you can't blame just one party. It was both of them. But it was that one thing you always say. At times, it was like they were wrestling underwater.
Yes.
They were just going at a pace you don't see things go at unless people are trying to do it in unison together. Really, really not good. And the crowd, while into the personality of a Toni Storm, they were dead silent during a lot of this.
Well, and then also, even on Twitter, the fans were saying it looked like they were working it out, or it looked like they were doing it in wrestling school or whatever. It wasn't. If you can't do something, and you're on national TV and in front of, for what is them, a big crowd, just don't fucking do it. A degree of difficulty of 5, execution of 10, not the other way around. And but anyway, like I said, Toni Storm won, and then Maria May came in and knocked Toni Storm out with a shoe. So that there are people in this company set on fire with flamethrowers and fucking hit by forklifts, and they're not down as long as this fucking high heel shoe. But she knocked her out with a shoe. She kissed her, and then she laid down in the ring and made snow angels. And I'm not making that up. Am I? Did you see it?
Well, I mean, they weren't perfect snow angels. They were,
they were kind of sideways, side stroke snow angels, but how else would you have described it to where the people that might not have seen it would have gotten the picture?
I guess the problem is I resent having to describe it. No, this was so bad. This was so bad. She came out there with Harley Cameron. I was like, this is interesting. Let's see what this could be. And it was not good. And I feel bad saying, I actually feel bad saying that because whatever you want to say, Sariah is someone whose whole family's in the business, and it appears there are things she just can't do anymore.
Boy, I'll tell you. And there was a backstage interview with Renee Moxley Good with Mark Briscoe. Here's the group here: Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Willow Nightingale, Pockets, and Ishii. And thankfully, Mark did most of the talking, but he's just floating around. Now you see him, now you don't. Kyle O'Reilly at one point, fine young talent. He came back looking like a homeless bum, and that was the peak. And Willow, poor Willow, poor Willow, poor Willow. And Pockets and the fucking Japanese potato who gives a shit. And it's just a mess.
The problem is Mark Briscoe's finally showing the personality on Dynamite that would help get him over as a single. But they've always got him in these promos surrounded by people who drag him down. Orange Cassidy drags down the person he's with, despite how the most ardent AEW fan loves him. That's a fact. And Kyle O'Reilly acting all silly just takes away from the guy acting all silly. You don't need that. It doesn't help Kyle. Nothing's helping Kyle right now.
No.
And Ishii, I guess, is on his annual tour of AEW. That's why he's in the mixed tag match on the pre-show. And, I don't know why, but Mark Briscoe doing this and having Renee Paquette react to him would be a whole lot more effective to building a single star than Mark Briscoe and the band of weirdos while Renee is bouncing around, looking at everyone, reacting to everyone. Yeah. It doesn't have the impact. It has no impact. It belongs on impact.
You can't see the forest for the weeds, basically. But anyway, then speaking of weed, certainly you had to take a break in the next segment.
You holding? What are you saying? You got something?
You had to take a break in the next segment. I can't imagine that you could have gone.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Will Osprey and MJF.
Ooh, I actually was planning on going outside around this time, but I saw this was starting. I said, let me go after this. And it went for a good while, and I was regretting that decision after a good while.
Well, they went commercial free and full of piss and vinegar for 25 fucking minutes on this segment. And I'm sorry, but everybody has one. So now MJF has had his. God damn, this was interminable. And Osprey comes out, and of course he gets the big ovation and lots of ole, 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 ole. Ole Anderson was fucking popping up out of his grave. They've sang it so long.
However, he called them all pieces of shit.
Well, that's true. And then said, fuck you and your wife, Linda.
That's right. And then he went back.
But yes, Osprey gets a big ovation. And he's the home country hero or home. Goddamn, he's not from Wales, is he? He's from England. So he's the home.
He's from London.
Well, he's the home UK fellow guy. Whatever. He's the baby face. And then MJF comes out, and of course there's more Ole singing, and it's good. This is the closest they have come to replicating some of the atmosphere they've had in the WWE lately, with everybody's song getting sung and their shit being over. But can you understand Os when he's screaming, not only with the accent, but with the foghorn voice, the tonal quality? It's like trying to understand somebody trying to talk through a ball gag.
It sounds like he's hoarse, but then he also has the accent. So it's very much love this, bro. And even with the bad, well, not even, especially with what is always the bad AEW audio, at least the way it comes across now on multiple TVs here in this office, it's hard to make out exactly what he's saying at all times. And he talks a lot.
Yeah, oh yes, very, very quickly. Also, when MJF would speak, it cut through that extra noise. You could hear, but I don't know. But Osprey did a long promo about how he wrestled in the church halls and tenement walls over there in Wales. And, and this is, by the way, they will be fined or suspended if they fight here. As opposed to the girls who just had a promise, apparently. I don't know. And MJF did the promo. He was begged to come back early from injury and clean up Osprey's mess. Well, the problem is Osprey hadn't hardly been here for but a couple of months, right? Wouldn't it have been somebody else's mess? I mean, the whole promo, and really this whole program, is kind of geared toward the internet mark so that they can kind of talk about the rotten booking. Did you get that part?
Yeah, I think this was all really misguided. And, I won't say the whole feud because it hasn't been to this level, although this is what this was the explanation for bad feelings. It doesn't resonate with a big audience, I don't think. And I think the longer they went on and the longer they were talking about this, the more it was like, what do they even fucking fight? What are they mad about?
Yes. And goddamn, is it worth all this effort to talk about it, whatever it is? Because
by the way, it sounds like you guys could just talk it out. Maybe you don't need the match. Just keep doing this.
Because Osprey said Tony Khan asked him to put on a good wrestling match because he couldn't rely on his world champion to do it, about MJF. What? Again, this is for the fucking internet fan who's already there in the audience. Not all of them. They ain't all in AEW's audience anymore. But they're all marks. And the people wanted to sing some more ole, ole, ole. And they were 15 minutes into this at the 9 o'clock hour. And it wasn't done yet. MJF called them all red coat terrorists, but there he is in the red, white, and blue, the American hero. And I don't know. I don't believe they've got another Revolutionary War started here, because then MJF had to tell Osprey again at length what's wrong with him and that he wasn't man enough to tiger driver him. And then Osprey went off, well, history books can be rewritten. How? It's history. It pretty much happened. If you change it, that means you're lying. But he said history books can be rewritten, but what can't be is how people feel.
Yeah, what was that line?
Punk is trying to get a bracelet with his wife and dog's name on it that was stolen by the man he hates more than anybody on the face of the earth. And Osprey is talking about, well, I'm going to make people feel good. And then he named every country in the world that will say that he's the greatest wrestler. Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, America. Could he get recognized on the street in any of those countries? If you were not at a wrestling event, if he was just walking down a fucking street, is he going to draw a crowd anywhere in the world?
See, there's another thing that went on way too long. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it would be if he went on the subway in Japan or if he, went to a special bar in Spain. I don't know where what the reaction would be everywhere. But it goes from the company's been hurt because of you. No, it was because of you to I'm the best. How could you say you're the best? I'm the best. Go ask anyone. I mean, it was just going on forever, and they were arguing about shit that isn't money. It's not, I think you're a prick. I don't need you out of my way. I want my belt back. You're fucking up my friendship. It was just like, here's a whole bunch of superfluous stuff, and then, a whopper at the end.
Well, and actually, there was a diamond sitting in the top of the cow pie. The segment that was good when Osprey was talking about MJF and the fans, he said they used to love you, but not anymore. And MJF blurted out, they loved me till you showed up and ruined it. And then he realized what he said. That was good. If that had been in the middle of fucking 9 or 11 minutes, it might have been really good. But it was in the middle of 25 fucking minutes. And then MJF gathered himself up and started putting Osprey over more. And then somehow have they mentioned Will Ospreay's wife or family situation on a television program ever?
I don't want to say for certain because they may have mentioned that he's going back to England to be with his family or something. I don't.
But also sure. the announcers are so unbearable we often don't listen. But
that's right. So I can't say.
Okay, MJF just blurts out, by the way, I got to spend time with your wife today. Well, how would he have done that? Did he go to his fucking house? Where does Osprey live? Does he live in fucking Wales? Or if Osprey brought his wife with him, Did he say, okay, I'm going to the gym, honey, if you need anybody to come over for the next couple hours, wink, wink? What the fuck?
Why would that bother you if you knew? Well, I mean, it would bother you, but why would it bother you to that point if you knew he was just lying? Like, it would bother you that he's lying, but, you know, if he's coming up with this whole story, you know it's not true, and you stand there and listen to it. Again,
well, yes, or apparently, was it supposedly true that MJF could have really talked to his wife? And why would Will Ospreay's wife talk to MJF if Ospreay's wife was alone by herself away from Ospreay to begin with?
Not even talking with her, fucking her, because he said that she may have his kid.
Well, that could be insinuation, but the fucking point of the whole thing is it's ridiculous. Either whether she lives in Wales or she came with him, if she came with Osprey, she wasn't at the fucking hotel with MJF, whatever. But it was just, MJF said, I got to spend time with your wife and your so-called kid. And then he says, oh, I'm putting you over. Because apparently Osprey's wife had a previous relationship and had a kid, and the kid is not Osprey's, but he's raising some other guy's kid as his own, which is commendable. And this is what MJF was saying, after talking with his wife, the next kid that she has won't be yours either. And so, but again, how did this come as some type of believable, enraging incident to Will Ospreay is what I'm saying to you. And what you're saying to me.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, Will, on the way here, I visited your mom.
Yeah.
And I had a few things to say to her. And then I found your old teacher. I mean, like, just that's the thing. At the very end of this promo, after all of this,
yeah,
going back and forth about feelings and who's the best, and
can you imagine how much better it'd have been if he'd have led with, hey, I fucked your wife this afternoon.
Yeah, you know where I was today? I was fucking your wife. No one's ever started a promo like that. That would have been big.
You know what? That is true. God damn it. That's got to be the way that somebody on TV gives their notice. So just go out there and take the microphone, and the first thing they say is, hey, you know what? I fucked your wife this afternoon. How about that? But anyway, they're not done yet, because Osprey then turns and asks Tony Schiavone, hey, you got Tony Khan in your ear? Well, of course he does, except when we need him, he's always there.
Right. How come it was this easy just to be, hey, you must have Tony Khan right now? Of course you do.
Yes. Well, what would the fine be for hitting MJF? And Tony says 100,000 pounds or $127,000, just for our bilingual audience here.
Pound sterling.
Pound sterling. Well, I'll tell you what, I used to pound sterling all the time.
Oh, that poor man.
Well, you know, he retired from his job as the Birmingham television commentator, Sterling Brewer. Remember? Oh. Have you ever known anybody? His real name was Sterling. First name was Sterling. It wasn't like Sterling Golden. It wasn't a made-up thing.
Sterling Morrison, the fantastic underrated guitar player from the Velvet Underground.
All right. Anyway, so then Osprey tackles MJF because he's willing to pay the 100. You know what? They missed a classic opportunity to at least get Tony over somehow. If Tony Khan, that is, if Tony Schiavone had said, I'm hearing from Tony Khan that the fine he had in mind was 100,000 pounds, but considering what MJF said, he's marking it down to $995. Get him. Boom. The big pop, right? Fuck. Anyway. So the big tackle and the big pull apart, MJF nails Osprey with the ring. And then they've established now they got all this security, but they got to do an angle. So MJF nails like 5 security guards with the ring, a couple of them with gut shots, and they all rolled out and just laid on the floor and disappeared. And meanwhile, Osprey's got his fucking sword out, and he manages to get a pap smear on his head off the fucking ring. And then MJF hits him with a brain buster and covers him for his own 3 count. And then he goes for the Tiger Driver that he says that Osprey's not man enough to pull the trigger on. but security revives suddenly all it. You know, it's funny when you get hit with different types of punches, you're unconscious for the same amount of time.
You know, it's kind of like that thing you see sometimes in movies. You hit the lead alien or something and they all go down. They're subservient to the main one.
Yes.
So maybe the main security guard went down and they all went down.
Or what about when, especially, you know who was noted for this? James West on the Wild Wild West. He'll have a fight with 5 guys and he'll run them all into walls and fucking hit them with chairs and they'll be laying there selling and he'll just run through the archway into the next room and down a hallway, and then suddenly he stops running because nobody's going to get up and chase him. It's like he's 5 miles away.
You know what I thought the most problematic part of all this here at the end was? When MJF went for the Tiger Driver, there was no reaction. The fans didn't react. There was no ooh, there was no oh, there was nothing.
Well,
and everything's based around getting... everything's based around this move being the deadly move that Osprey's afraid to use. They haven't gotten the move over. People still aren't even sure exactly what it is. They did one video for it, and it was good. And it was buried. It wasn't on this show, was it? It wasn't on this show.
I didn't see it.
So I don't even remember. It may have been on Collision. But they've got to do more to actually get... They don't have enough time now, but that was the thing. MJF went for the Tiger Driver, teased it, and that's when security woke up, and the fans didn't even react.
Well, now, there's something to be said for the fact that they've not only been talking for over 20 minutes, but now they're fighting. Now he's given the guy the brain buster. He's covered him for his own 3 count. And now he's going to pick him up and do something else. They're like, fuck. Can you just goddamn get it over with? But also with the Tiger Driver, I'm sorry, but normal people don't understand and would scoff or laugh at the idea that, oh, this wrestler who's been, especially if he's a babyface and he's been wronged by a heel who's talking about fucking his wife and fathering his fucking children or whatever the fuck, but he won't pick him up and drop him on his head. Fuck this fucking pussy. Right? Oh, I don't want to do the Tiger Driver anymore. Well, fuck you then. Don't beat him.
Well, Jim, history could be rewritten, but feelings are forever.
Oh, Christ. Speaking of feelings, oh, feelings. Nothing more than feelings. I got a feeling of gas in my rectum. When Renee Moxley Good was in the back with Hangnail Page, who had been asked to leave the building after an altercation. We didn't see an altercation. They just came up with a cool premise of why he's got his fucking bag and he's headed out the door. And besides that, I didn't see Jack Perry laying unconscious, gasping for breath anywhere. And he's the only one that they ever really can beat up backstage, so... Well, think about it.
I was wondering where you were going. I'm like, okay, what does Jack Perry have to do with this?
Some of the other guys might actually fight back.
That's right.
But what's he gonna fucking do? But then Page says, I did what I had to do in whatever this altercation was, and I'm in the casino gauntlet on Sunday. What the fuck? And then suddenly, apropos of nothing, and they're on TV, Pizzeria Uno of the Dork Order, the fat guy in the shark mask. He just walks by the shot. He's wearing a white shirt and he's tying his tie. He's got that goofy outlaw mask on. And for whatever reason, since Page is in the gauntlet match, he hits his former friend with a chair and screams at the camera in a growly type of manner. The fuck? And again, they took this guy to Wales. The fat guy in a fucking mask. For what? Can't you get a fat guy on a street in Wales and put a mask on him? Are there fat people in Wales? I went to Wales when I was over there.
There are fat people everywhere. There are whales everywhere. No, there are fat people
Are
everywhere.
there any whales in Wales? Well, then they could have saved. They could have told somebody, instead of buying a $20 ticket, we'll trade you. Just put a fucking mask on and let this idiot hit you with a chair. And then you could have a free ticket.
You know, with that said, I think it was Adam Page's best promo in a while. And I guess the question is, do you think he interferes in the Swerve match? That way Swerve drops the belt and the heat doesn't go to Bryan Danielson, the hero who wins the belt. It goes to the guy who cost him the belt. Or cost Swerve the belt.
Only if you do it the right way. Otherwise, everybody gets something on them. But, good Lord, I don't know. I don't see how, unless Danielson then said, well, I've got to fucking fight Paige to restore my honor because he gave me help I didn't ask for. But then, since he's apparently going to have his neck operated on, Danielson, by the end of the year, he might need to drop the belt if he wins it pretty quick. Is he going to put it back on Paige? So why would he be the one? See where I'm going with this? You smell what I'm laying down?
I would if it was normal wrestling booking we're talking about, but they already established with Sting you could retire with a championship, and Toni loves tournaments and battle royals and gauntlets and casino matches and all that. So we'll see what they do, but after all of this and at this point in the show, I felt like it was time for a nap.
Yo, you did, huh?
I do right now, and I did then.
Well, I'll tell you, I felt like it was time for a full night's sleep. And folks, if you're not getting a full night's sleep, that's because you're not sleeping on the right shit. You know, some people are out there, they're going through these various sleep trends, these sleep fads is what I'm trying to say, Brian. You know, the fad thing where they say you should sleep leaned up in the fucking kitchen against a fucking stove at least 3 nights a week that's one that's sweeping the nation now.
What nation is that?
Well, Pakistan.
Oh.
And also there's you should sleep on a bag of used barbed wire and rusty nails, because then it feels so good when you get back into your substandard mattress. But that's led a lot of people to have tetanus. But there's all these sleep fads, but you can only really count on a good night's sleep in one place from one particular people. One particular people, because there's more than one. So how would you say that? One particular company, which is made up of millions and millions of people.
Well, no. We don't know how many people work for this company. Let's not.
Over at Helix, they're the largest employer in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Where?
Woonsocket.
I'm not familiar with that place.
Oh, it's right there by the bay. I'll tell you what, folks, if you want a good night's sleep, Helix sleep mattresses, we've been talking about these things for years now because they just keep getting better. And now they not only have the regular lineup, the award-winning Luxe lineup, the Ultra Premium Elite Collection, the Helix Plus, that's for the big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kids. So they've got mattresses for kids, and I think they're branching out into kids. Some of the tester mattresses come with their own kids. If you're short of a couple of children in the house.
No, that's not how it works. Helix Kids is mattresses. I can't talk because this is such a preposterous idea. Helix Kids is mattresses or are mattresses for kids. And of course, there is no Helix Kids group or team or whatever it may be that works on behalf of Helix, whatever it is you were trying to intimate before.
No, but the cool thing is people that deliver these Helix Kids mattresses, they're 12 and under also. The little bitty toddlers dragging these boxes with the mattress because nothing. Well, now think about this.
I will not.
Think about this for a second.
Let's not and say we didn't.
No, the thing is, when the regular adult people order a mattress and the regular adult people bring you the mattress, it comes in a box that one person is really able to move around, and you can put it where you want it, and then you unbox it, and it doesn't spring. It's not dangerous. It doesn't have any whiplash effects, but it will expand to life. Well, think about this. A kid can carry one of the kids' mattresses in a box. So
once again, there will be no children delivery people, and Helix is compliant with all child labor laws.
Yes, well, I'm talking about UPS. They have a special junior squadron. It's an offshoot of the Newsboy Legion. But what
a junior squadron, really?
Yes, the junior squadron. They deliver the Helix sleep mattresses, and they have the cute little short pants on. It's amazing. But anyway, folks, no matter what your sleep preference, you want it hard, You want it soft? You want it fast? You want it to hurt? Whatever the case, whatever your sleep preference is, Helix Sleep has got you covered. You go to helixsleep.com. You answer the questions about how you like to sleep and whether you sweat a lot at night. Got a lot of problems, huh? A lot of shit weighing on you. Well, one of these mattresses, boom, they smear ether over the top of it, so when you lay down, you drift right off into dreamland without sweating over all those troubles you got. But whatever, you just take the quiz, and then you pick out the mattress, you purchase the mattress. You can, while you're waiting on the mattress to be delivered, you can read the 12,000 five-star reviews that Helix Sleep has. Wyatt Meltzer, he changes his mattress a lot. And then the mattress comes, and you unbox it, you put it on your bed, you fall into bed like you're falling into a cloud. Or whatever you want to fantasize about, it's not for us to decide. And right now, I'll have you know, Helix is offering 25% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. We have offered offers before, but never have the offers that we have proffered been as profitable for you as 25% off and 2 free pillows. Go to helixsleep.com/JCE, HELIX sleep.com/JCE, 25% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. And this is not even for a first-time customer. If you have had 18 Helix Sleep mattresses before, well, how would you be that old? Because they last 15, 20 years with these guarantees. But if you're a 170-year-old woman and all of your bodily organs have liquefied and leak out your fallopian tubes, and you need a new mattress, it counts for you too. You don't have to be a new customer. 25% off for everybody. Is everybody happy?
What everyone's saying is Helix Sleep. What's that promo code one more time, Jim?
JCE.
That's right, Helix Sleep. And Jim, it's not time for a complete night's sleep yet, just a little nap. We're back with Dynamite.
Oh, no. If you went to sleep, you probably thought you had a nightmare. But actually, it was just the Intercontinental title match between Claudio Castagnoli and our friend Okada. And I continue to watch this guy, to see the first time that he does something that looks like he's actually trying to have a match better than a wrestling school student with 3 months training. Something that's exciting, something that's impressive. He'll uncork a nice standing drop kick once during a match. And I made notes on this match. Here's one: nothing is happening. And then I wrote, Claudio looks like the star, and Okada's shit couldn't break an egg. Then they trade fake forearms. They've gone through 2 breaks. This is interminable and in slow motion. Badly obvious fake fighting on the top turnbuckle. Has Okada been using the elbow drop off the top rope as part of his repertoire for a while, or did he just uncork that when it was the first one he ever did?
No, I think I've seen him do it before.
Well, it looked like a goddamn disconnected bucket of body parts being flung off the top turnbuckle. I don't know what part of his body landed on fucking Claudio. And then more forearms. Oh, I forgot he flipped the bird to the camera after that. They like that in Japan. You see all the pictures the Japanese photographers take of all the guys back to the 80s, even the 70s, giving the finger. They don't really like that on TV in this country. Can you testify to that, Brian? Well, not that you've done it personally, but you've seen the people try to blur it, or they try to not shoot it, or whatever. We used to have a problem with Austin back in the day. Not problems with Steve, but problems with the network not wanting him to flip the finger. Anyway, and the giant swing got a pop. And then they did a 1 minute remaining call, and then it was a 20-minute draw. So I love Claudio, but a guy they never use goes to a 20-minute draw with their new multi-million-dollar toy for the EVPs group. What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, I don't know. This match was not for me, and it wasn't just Okada. It was Claudio, too. I can't remember the last good, exciting Claudio match that was for my sensibilities.
Claudio and Hero, the Kings of Wrestling, against the Briscoes in Toronto in summertime of, I believe, 2012.
2012? I was going to say, it's a long time ago.
Well, it's the best match they all ever had, but nevertheless.
But yeah, no, this was not for me.
Well, then the Buckaroos and Jungle Jackoff came out, and Maddie did the thing where, well, would all you fans like 5 minutes more? Well, it's not going to happen. And then he's droning on, and finally they're telling Claudio, get out of the ring or we'll remove you. But regardless of what you think of his work, look at Claudio and look at these three. What the fuck? And
he should be able to kill all of them, yeah.
Yes. Punk beat the shit out of him. Anyway, suddenly Darby's music plays, and I wrote, will this ever end? And as Darby's coming down there, they started ring introductions. They went straight. The Hartley Boys and Jungle Jackoff and Okada are threatening Claudio. And then suddenly here comes Darby. And then they start ring introductions. And then here comes FTR. And then all the baby faces hit the ring. And Claudio and Okada just fight off. And you never see them again. And the other six fight around ringside, and then they start the match. FTR and Darby against the Hartley Boys and old Jack. And if you'd told me a year ago I would be skipping FTR matches, I would have thought you were crazy. But I can't. At that point, this will deep in the program suffer the Lollipop Guild. So the finish of it was finally they superplexed, splashed, and coffin dropped little Maddie 1, 2, 3. So the babyfaces win, beating the evil EVPs. But then here comes the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. And they're starting to cut a promo on FTR and the Bucks. And I'm like, who are the babyfaces here? Because did the Acclaimed turn heel on Collision because Caster was being an asshole? And Bowens had a hernia screaming at him. And there's more baby faces in this thing than there are heels to be mad at. What's going on?
Well, they're having a three-way match at Wembley Stadium for the tag titles. The Bucks defending against FTR and the Acclaim. The Acclaim have had a harder edge lately, which they've needed. And Billy Gunn's super over.
Billy Gunn's most popular one in this whole fucking thing now, but should the Acclaim come out and try to make people think that they're assholes in order to get an edge, or just win once in a while?
I don't know. Max Caster acting like an asshole in the mic is kind of the thing that got him over, and then they went really too cute with everything, I think. I think that was the problem. But
I don't know. I think all of the problem is all of these cereal boxes have been opened and everything started to get stale before it got all eat up. And that's just kind of meh.
Dax looked really good in there. You know, the problem was the same thing like with Jericho and Tommy Billington. Just Jack Perry doesn't look realistic. Trading blows with FTR. It works fine with Darby. But he's so slight that it's completely unbelievable.
He's so slight.
He's slight. I mean, what else do you say? He's slight. He could wear a small. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Is that a kid size small or an adult small?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I wore a small.
I don't know that I ever wore a small. I think I was medium when I was small.
Well, I don't know if it was medium or mid or what this was, but that was that.
Well, it's about over with. And in the back, Osprey was getting his head treated, looked at, examined. They found nothing. But Danielson came in and gave him a pep talk consisting of, I saw what happened. Look at me. Do it. I mean it. Do it. And walked off. So that was their way of saying that Danielson is giving this putz here permission to drop the heel on his fucking head. God damn it.
No Fletcher,
Anyway.
no Fletcher or Don Callis since the match.
Well, that would just make some kind of sense, wouldn't it?
They've been off the show. They've been off the show since Fletcher got the biggest match he's ever had on TV.
And the thing you get, couldn't Don Callis come out and explain anything he's done or any of the people in his group that they've done for the last 6 months? Just let us know what the fuck's going on with this.
That'd be nice.
Anyway, Nigel McGuinness was in the ring. And because he's another one that's from over there. And he introduced Swerve Strickland. And they started the interview with Swerve right at 10 o'clock, right at 10 p.m. Eastern. But did you notice, well, I don't know about your cable guide, but I had an overrun scheduled for 5 minutes on the cable guide there.
Oh, I didn't notice, actually. That's interesting.
It was scheduled, and of course, then they went 10 minutes over. But I got it, because I'm used to it now. They're idiots. But they scheduled a 5-minute overrun, and they went 10 minutes over.
They finally scheduled 5 minutes, they went 10 minutes.
Yes. So, but it was the Modern Family pilot that was after. I wanted to see that anyway. So Swerve talked, and then Nigel is knocking Danielson in favor and Swerve because Nigel and Danielson are still kind of working their thing they had in Ring of Honor. And Swerve talked about all the people that he's beaten, and Danielson's going to be next, and it was a heel promo. But I got, at this point, I think everybody's trying too hard because there are no real issues. Everything seems the same, and these guys are just having to go out and make shit up on their own because they've got no guidance. And it's all guys that truthfully didn't do a lot of television because they were all in the indies. I'm not talking about Danielson. I'm talking about Swerve in this case. Talking about a lot of these guys that don't have anything to fucking talk about because their booker has let them down. So, and then it looked for a while like Nigel was trying to cut him off, but he wouldn't let him. And I'm thinking they're telling Nigel, hey, we're over our over. So at right past 10:05, when it would cut off if you DVR'd it and you wouldn't see it, Danielson's music plays, and he just runs in and gives Swerve the knee, and Swerve bailed, and Danielson got the microphone. And this was the high point of the show because people were with him, and he had some energy, and he said he's the best fucking wrestler in the world. He bleeped, but he got the fans live and did a fired up promo about Wembley, which was probably the best one of the night, and got the people going, yes, 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 to close the thing. But good Lord, that's what happened there.
It certainly did, and that was AEW Dynamite. The build to Danielson versus Swerve has left a lot to be desired, and unfortunately, and we'll talk about the ratings momentarily, a lot of what they've done has been during the lowest rated part of the show recently.
Well, and you know, just again, what are these? I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Well, yes, in theory, everybody wants to be the best wrestler in the world, but you do that by winning the world title, not by just going out and everybody cutting the same fucking promo. It's either I'm the best in the world or I looked up to you, but you're not the same person anymore, or why can't we be friends? 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 'Cause our booking sucks and it has no end.
Well, that was the story of AEW Dynamite.
You know, you should all just take it and put it right together in a big box and mail it somewhere.
That's right, and while it's been rather quick since the last time we told you about something you could do, we'll do it one last time here today.
Well, I'd like to tell you people what you can do, and one thing that you need to do real quick is go to our friends at boxofawesome.com and get your box of awesome started, because they'll send you a box of awesomeness every month right when you need it. As a matter of fact, they are tracking you. It's like tracking you by satellite to determine when you are the downest, when you're the pissiest, when you're the most depressed, when you need a lift, you need a hand, you need a pep in your step. That's when they send you your box of awesome. All you have to do is put this little tracker under your skin, and they can tell when you're feeling good or feeling blue. And when an alarm bell goes off at boxofawesome.com Central, they say, "Oh boy, I tell you what, old Dennis, he's bummed out today. His wife left him and a tree fell on his house." They'll send you a box. Of course, they can also tell other things about you, including your whereabouts and all your thoughts, but it's a small price to pay for cheeriness. Don't you agree, Brian?
Well, that is certainly a fair price to pay, yes.
And it's a fair price for anybody to pay to be cheered up from the plethora of products and the discounts they give you, 30% off or more in some cases. And you know how it works, folks. You just go to boxofawesome.com. You answer a few non-intrusive questions, submit to a DNA test, give your third-born son's birth certificate, mail it right in, and your answers will help them pick the right box of awesome that you will get every month. You can choose from the standard or premium box. The premium box has extra special wrapping, too. It's very pretty. It comes in and sometimes they even attach a live bird to the premium box so that, well, that way the bird gives you music in your home.
No. Again, we've gone over this in the past. No live animals, no livestock, nothing. No.
Well, it's premium. It's not in the box. It's outside. It's part of the box wrapping to make it look festive.
While we have found out that the U.S. Postal Service does indeed ship chickens or chicks or eggs.
Chicks, yes.
You can't have them on the outside of the packaging.
Well, it helps make it more festive when you see that cheery little bird. But anyway.
Sounds like torture for the bird. How's the bird cheery?
Well,
let me go. Let me go.
Hey,
I'm tied to this package.
It's a tough economy. A bird's got to have a fucking job. What do you want it to be? All fucking sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, and waterfalls? Anyway, I'll tell you what, and 90% of everything that comes in your box of awesome is from a small, up-and-coming, mom-and-pop type brand. And you're taking care of them, too, in their declining years. They're almost ready for the home. Somebody's going to be holding a pan for them to poop any minute, so they got to sell this shit. So they're moving it at prices that are motivated. So right now, folks, you can save money also because Box of Awesome is motivated to give you a discount. You're going to get 15% off your first box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com. Enter the code JCE at checkout. Again, boxofawesome.com, code JCE for 15% off your first box of awesome. You don't know what it's going to be except awesome. And in a box.
Well, Jim, let's get away from the awesome boxes and let's get to the awesome ratings, or what could be awesome ratings. We will find out. AEW Dynamite for August 21st against the Democratic National Convention, so big competition.
Isn't there always something happening on a Wednesday night in America?
It just so happens that the biggest things happen on Wednesday nights.
Used to be church night. That's why Tennessee territory didn't run a big town on Wednesdays. People went to church for some reason on Wednesday nights in the small towns.
Did they play bingo? Was it bingo night?
I don't know. It could have been B-I-N-G-O, and Bingo was his name,
All right. This is taking a turn. AEW Dynamite, Jim, on August 21st, 2024 from 8 to 10:05 p.m. On average, watched by 698,000 viewers.
Oh, boy, so they're back below 700. They popped up a little bit last week, didn't they? Wasn't it last week? They had a few more?
Yes, 703 last week.
Yeah, they've lost another 5,000 people.
The trailing 4 weeks, the average is 680.
Ooh. Well, I guess this is better than average if that's their average. That's a pretty fucking rotten average.
Well, again, there is strong competition, as they say, but let's see what story the quarter hours tell us. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The Britt Baker Mercedes Moné live promo and angle with Camille and the Chris Jericho backstage promo. 840,000 viewers.
Ooh, okay. Well, they started strong, and that means that they are apparently going to finish weak, according to their average. Go ahead.
They started at 338, by the way, in the key demo, and they stayed over 300 until the overrun, so fairly consistent, and with the trend line for that. Going to the quarter hours again, quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. Chris Jericho versus Tommy Billington with picture-in-picture ads, the Learning Tree and Hook live angle, and the ad break.
And Prince Karas's head popping off.
See, at least he has enough hair to cover his eye. You know, if he was like a short-haired wrestler on the ground, you would have really been fucked. 734,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. So 106,000 people said, the Big Bang Theory is done? Shit, let's get out of here.
Well, the banging continues into quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. Toni Storm versus Sariah with picture-in-picture ads in the Johnny Saint tribute match. The post-match with Mariah May. The Conglomerations backstage promo. And an ad break. 683,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. Well, they have to come back at this point somewhat just to make their average, but that's 157,000 people in 45 minutes.
That's the women's segment, into Jericho, into another women's segment. But we go now to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m., the Will Osprey MJF live face-to-face promo. 702,000 viewers.
Okay, well, so 19,000 people found their way back once they were sure it was safe and the girls' match was over with.
But there was strong competition. One of the Dixie Chicks blew her nose at the Democratic Convention at that exact moment when this match happened.
I saw that. And she was tackled by the Secret Service. They thought her nose was loaded.
We go now to the big 9 o'clock hour, the loaded 9 o'clock hour, the big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m.
Which, by the way, this was it not Osprey and MJF? Yeah, I said they were 15 minutes into this thing at 9 o'clock. Well, maybe so that's why some of these people came back. They saw Osprey and MJF. Did they hang with them?
Well, that continued into quarter 5 here at 9 o'clock. MJF and Osprey's live angle, an ad break. The Adam Page Evil Uno backstage confrontation. 701,000 viewers.
Okay, they held the audience. That's about as close to being held as you can come. They were gripped very tightly.
Well, they kept coming into quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. Kazuchika Okada versus Claudio Castagnoli with picture-in-picture twice. 706,000 viewers.
That is a miracle. That they could actually get 5,000 extra people to sit through that. All righty.
Well, that match continued into quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The continuation of Claudio versus Okada, the post-match with the Young Bucks, Darby Allin, and FTR. Well, actually, no, that's actually the post-match continuing into the match. Darby Allin and FTR versus the Young Bucks and Jack Perry with picture-in-picture ads. 683,000 viewers.
Okay, so they didn't actually sit through the whole thing. Another 23,000 said, no, we can't take it anymore.
Well, they took it a little more in quarter 8 here, 9:45 to 10 p.m. I remind you, there's an overrun. It says 9 minutes. The continuation of Allin and FTR versus The Elite. The post-match with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. The Osprey Bryan Danielson motivational angle in the back. And an ad break. 619,000 viewers.
Oh, good God.
9-minute overrun for the Swerve Strickland Bryan Danielson live promo with Nigel. 564,000 viewers.
Jesus, even the pilot of Modern Family couldn't bring the people in drooves? So, Again, it used to be that the overrun bumped them up, but now the overrun, I think, is taking them down. They've killed the following program. If you take out the first quarter, which we usually do because that's obviously bullshit, they lost 106,000 people immediately. The whole program, they were between 683 and 734. It's about a 50,000 person swing there. And then they just lost 75,000 people in the last quarter, and then another 55,000 on top of that.
The true average is 689.
Good Lord. So, but again, from start to finish, they lost 200, and let's say, wait a minute, 24, I'm trying to do it, 276,000 viewers from the start of the program to the finish of the program.
You know, the key demo is the interesting thing here. It starts at 338, 318, 307, 325, 308, 317, 309, 304, 293. Fairly consistent. That seems to be who Tony's booking for, that 300,000 people.
Well, bless him. If he's that happy with that many people, then bless him. Because, and again, what's wrong with those people? They just not got nothing better to do?
Well, that was AEW Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
Jim, if you don't mind, I have something to say here. Recently, there's been a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter with myself and someone who most of you probably don't know. His name's Dave Scherer. He is a guy who used to have a newsletter. He was an ECW fan in the bleachers. He then started a website in the early 2000s and seemingly never worked on it ever again after that. Started a website back then and has been really riding the coattails of the fantastic reporting of Mike Johnson, who does a very good job and seems to be rather diligent in what he does. Problem is, he works for a guy named Dave Scherer. Dave Scherer, I knew a little bit in the 90s. He's made this into a little bit of a big deal that I claim I knew him and he doesn't know me. Yeah, someone else told me a similar story about him too. But in the 90s, when I was a teenage fan going to different things, I got to know lots of different people. And not only did I know Dave Scherer, not only did I sit next to him in the ECW arena, not only was he in my hotel room making phony phone calls with us, you could ask Devin Storm about that, but when I made my famous Bubba Must Die sign that I held up when Bubba Ray Dudley was a babyface in the ECW arena with my bedsheet from the hotel room and red marker, he was one of the people who helped me hold it up because he knew I had the sign because I brought it because he was scared to do anything. Because it was hanging out with Shearer and everyone and hearing how everyone hated Bubba Ray Dudley for real, not because he was a babyface. They didn't like him. Everyone was afraid to do anything, but they wanted to send a message to Heyman. I did something.
Well, and I remember that caused quite a stir.
And I did something. And Shearer's in the video holding it up with me. But again, a long time ago, I kind of did other things. Shearer kept doing what he was doing. Did some stuff with Bob Ryder, I know. So all these years later, he has this PWInsider website, which is one of the many wrestling news websites. It has a paywall where you subscribe and you get access to, I guess, their content without just an endless stream of suspicious-looking ads. I don't know what the fuck is happening on that website. You can get stuck on that website.
I tried to look at the basic one again, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
It could cause epilepsy. It's just a fucking flash mob of fucking weirdo ads. But anyway, that's what he does. We do this. I do my thing. In case anyone hasn't noticed, I just do my thing. I don't fuck with other people. I do my thing. But if you take a jab at me, I'm gonna fucking take out my Uzi and I'm gonna spray the room over and over and over again. So, we have nothing to do with Dave Scherer. You always said very nice things about his website and, of course, Mike Johnson's reporting.
Because Mike Johnson is the nicest man in the world. And yes, we've always said nice things about the elite site. Let's make it plain.
Right. And at various points, they gave me a comp because they wanted us to talk about, the website over there and give them free publicity, which we did for, a little while when talking about stories that they wrote or Mike Johnson wrote.
We were happy to do it.
So somewhere along the way, Dave Scherer thought he should send me his thoughts on the stock market. It was, let me pull up the email here, because it was like, I heard that you like investing. Let me get the exact quote, because it's the one that I started laughing about with people. Hold on. If I remember correctly, you have done very well financially. I have too, thanks to, indirectly, Meltzer, and more so, investing. Are you an investor? I don't do day trading, so I miss out on the Robinhood stuff, but I love to invest and watch wealth grow. Look, at this point, I was like, I don't want to fucking talk financial shit with this fucking schlubby boob. I know Dave Scherer. I know who he is. He's a moron. I would never, nor would I think anyone else should ever take financial advice from him or share financial advice with him or do anything in that realm with him. So again, knowing that you have a good relationship with them, I try to be courteous and I just say I've done fairly well. I'm an investor, not a trader. I'm not a fan of the Robinhood-like companies. Then he sends me a whole nother thing about his thoughts on the stock market. Then he sends me some fucking newsletter he wants me to subscribe to because he gets his stock tips from there. At that point, I stopped responding because...
Yes, because we had things going on. I can't remember. You were telling me this concurrently, that it was going on. Was that when your dad was sick or you were moving the house or whatever? You don't have time.
This is just unsolicited. Why is he sending me this? Why is this guy who I don't have anything to do with sending me his financial advice and wanting me to get this new, like, what the fuck is this? So that's that. I drop it. Move on.
Just drop it. Move on.
So then all of a sudden, a while later, an email comes to you and me and Mike Johnson from Dave Scherer. It's an email entitled Quick Favor.
Can I take over for a second here? Because I want to read it.
Certainly.
I want to read that particular email. This is from Dave Scherer. This was back in the middle of June 19th. Hey all, hope you're doing well. I have had a number of people ask me if you guys are taking a shot at PWInsider.com when you talk about your site and say that nothing is behind a paywall. He's talking about the Wrestling News daily free podcast, 10-minute fucking wrestling news report that the tagline of the advertising, Brian, tell me if I misquote this, is no clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news.
That's right, and I think it's a rather effective line if I say so myself.
It's kind of succinct and says it. Well, Dave Scherer continues, I know you aren't, obviously, and I write each person that asks me that back and say that we love you guys and have a great relationship. Like there's this plethora of emails coming in his fucking demented mind, as we will find out here shortly.
Like he's Santa. Like, I got to write back to all these kids.
I've got to write back to all these children who might be. And he goes on further. He says, to make my life easier, could you drop that line from your promos? It would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. So when this email comes in, we were recording that day. And you said, did you see this fucking email? And I said, yes, I do. I am gobsmacked that he would even think, and that obviously nobody was asking. If they were trying to stir up shit, and you ought to know that too. Well, hey, Brian, how many websites are there in the world you think has a paywall?
Oh, I mean, there's tons of websites with paywalls, and endless amount. Plus Patreon. Patreon technically is a paywall. Yeah,
so you think 20 million, 40 million, whatever the fuck. This 10-minute daily wrestling newscast is going to be confused as taking a shot at his entire goddamn site that has an elite section or whatever the fuck, and just change your advertising, Brian. Even though we don't say anything like that.
Yeah, just do me a quick favor. You haven't heard from me since the fucking random stock thoughts. Just change everything about your business because I think you should. What? Get the fuck out of here.
So that was your reaction, and I said, look, I don't want to make Dave mad because we like Mike Johnson and he'll get caught, whatever. You know, I'll answer him, right? Because he didn't want to read the email that you were going to fucking write.
Yeah, no, if I would have answered him, he would have jumped off a fucking bridge. Trust me.
Well, but also that's when I was busy and I had shit going on. So 2.5 days later, he writes back, did you guys get this? If you want to keep up the paywall comments, just let me know so I can answer the question once on the site and be done with it. What the fuck? If you haven't heard from us, that means no, we're not going to change our advertising or your advertising or whoever's advertising. But why does he need to answer the question that nobody gives a shit about except him?
Well, there's the other issue. And I will say by this point in time, this whole email exchange, I had heard from people the thought that seems to be a consensus amongst many that Dave Scherer, I guess he does like a column on his own website where he answers questions. The thought is he writes the questions and answers them. There's never a name attributed. There's never a hometown or a website or a screen name or nothing. It's basically Dave answering questions that are written like Dave would write them, answering questions that he wants to answer.
So you're saying he's pulling the old Mike Lano. And I think that's an apt analogy. He's answering questions that he wants to fucking answers because he has started, you don't read them, but he has started having a fucking gimmick where he says, I don't worry about these people because they don't mean anything to me. As you're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen, this motherfucker obsesses over some shit. So he wrote, did you guys get this? Blah, blah, blah. So I wrote back, hi, Dave, sorry for the late reply. And I wrote back that same day that he wrote the second one. We're both having a hectic week. I think someone is fucking with you. You guys are literally the only news site we ever quote, reference, or put over, and we do it by name constantly, telling people to trust PWInsider. So I think this may be some Cucamonga kids starting a campaign to get heat between us. Do answer the question on the site and flame the people for making up obvious horse shit where none exists, just like their journalistic hero.
Or just admit you made up the whole thing about getting tons of fucking things that you have to respond to everyone one by one and explain that, oh no, we're great friends. What?
Well, hold on. He writes me back that same day. Jim, I heard your voice in my head when I read that and I laughed out loud. You're probably right on the money there. There are so many trolls out there. Uncle Dave, man, what a fall for that guy. All good here. Hope the same for you. And then he can't fucking leave it alone. So I'm going to read one more email and then my response, and then you can tell people, Brian, what he then did.
Well, again, we thought that that diffused it. He realized he's being a fool and we would all move on now.
We can move on. Then he writes me back 3 days later. Hey, Jim, parenthetically, and I guess Brian, because you had not answered him yet because of aforementioned reasons why.
Yeah, because I was going to tell him what I thought of him and his wife and everyone else around him. I was going to really fucking let him have it, but I was a nice guy, so I stayed back.
Don't say anything about his dog. I won't stand for that. Anyway, so Dave says, I got another question about it today. It specifically asked about Brian saying no paywalls and mentioned that the slogan is on his site, too. Imagine that, Brian. Your advertising slogan is on your website as well as in your podcast.
Shocking.
Since Brian didn't answer here, I can't really say anything publicly other than Brian didn't answer when I asked and he didn't answer me. I guess my body odor makes it all the way to wherever he lives. Seriously, I don't want to make this into something.
You're the only one making it into something.
You're the only one, you motherfucker. You fucking fat-headed piece of shit. It gives me more goddamn shit to worry about when I got shit going on already. So he said, seriously, I don't want to make this into something, so I'll just respond to elite subscribers in email and ignore the free site readers that ask. There's nobody asking. It's stupid. And he finishes, whatever the case, if there is no issue, cool. If there is an issue, well, that paywall is the reason Mike and I can pay our bills. I will never apologize for making sure Mike and I get paid for our hard work. Nobody's asking you to, moron. Imbecile. So I wrote back to him, hi, Dave. Brian and I were on the phone when I answered you before, so I told him I was replying to you. Nothing to do with your stunning BO. There is no issue. It's an advertising line. Send us the names of everyone who's asked this question, and we'll cuss them out in public on our next show. This is ridiculous for these people to be bugging you with their bullshit. I'm still trying to, like he's a goddamn Alzheimer's patient locked up in a home, and I'm still trying to humor him that there's somebody asking this.
It's his friend George Glass.
And I thought, no, wait a minute. He actually wrote me back on this one. Trust me, the dopes out there bug me with sillier bullshit than this. There are a lot of freaks out there in the world. I don't keep a list of the losers. See, it's his gimmick. He has to fucking... But the latest good one was named Billy Walkerwitz. Feel free to bury him, because given some of the other emails he has sent me, he seems like the product of a brother and sister banging in the woodshed. So that's the way he thinks about the listeners. But nevertheless, we put it to bed. We thought it was done. We thought it was over with. So he does a Q&A, and Brian, what does he say?
Apparently, because it was sent to me, because I don't pay for that fucking site. It was sent to me. He had a bunch of nasty things to say about me, about how worthless I am as a co-host, and how Cornette would do better with random people from his website that you've never heard of. And
he has never heard of, he doesn't know you. He never heard of you. You're a nobody, and anybody could do your job. Jim Cornette's great, so anybody could do your job. I've done things with other people than you. They weren't great.
No, I'm the best at this.
Well, but nevertheless, but instead of just, look, we're trying to tell you, motherfucker, we're not changing this goddamn advertising. Brian's not changing. It's not even my advertising. Brian's not changing this advertising, but we're trying to be nice to you. And you keep harping on this, and now you're pissed off because people don't email you back because you wouldn't want to read the goddamn answer. We're trying to be nice. And he makes an issue where none exists and goes on his site and calls you a nobody, that anybody can do your job and blah, blah, blah. And then is wondering why you have made sideways comments on occasion about him since then.
Well, not on occasion. On air, I've made two. One wasn't him, it was the website. Making a joke about getting stuck on his website. You see, his website is a fucking embarrassing mess, and anyone who visits it will have a really awful experience. It's almost like someone who pretends he's successful really isn't, and doesn't put a dime of any alleged success into said product to fix it, make it better, make it more accessible, make more money. It's almost like he doesn't understand how to make money. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But yeah.
All right, but anyway, I'm not going to read, because that was June last year as this went on.
Yeah.
And
I didn't say a word until...
We didn't say anything about it, because why? Because it's stupid. But he has continued. I'm not even going to read them all, but I've gone back here to April. This is when he wrote 10 paragraphs, because what I'm about to tell you. One time a couple years ago, I had said, oh, we're going to reference this article on PWInsider, and you just tried to pop up the website and went to the free one instead of the pay one, and it froze your fucking computer because things are popping and flashing, and it looks like goddamn a slot machine. And I laughed at you because you were cussing and fucking, goddamn it, and it held up our recording. So then, back in April, we were talking about one of those Hindu websites that we got stuck on, or you got stuck on and couldn't get out of it.
That's right, yeah.
And then you said it's like being on PWInsider. And laugh, and we went on. He wrote me a goddamn 10-paragraph email.
Oh, my God.
Saying, I'll tell you who didn't pop for it. Because he wrote me first, what the fuck? And I said, it was a joke, and this is what happened before. And then he said, well, my wife didn't pop for it. She now hates Brian Last's guts now that he cares, because you said, I was stuck on the website. Well, fuck this guy.
She's a listener? This is news to me.
She walked in the room, he said, when I played the clip.
Good timing.
And he's ranting and raving about this. And again, he's the one who fucking started it. Listen to this. I'm deeply offended and pissed off about the knife you let Last put in our backs. He's a drama fucking queen.
There's no hours.
So anyway, oh yeah, we were stabbing Mike Johnson in the back too. So anyway, then when we were talking about Uncle Dave the other day, Uncle Dave Meltzer, as opposed to Uncle Dave Scherer, and you let loose with that he's always been jealous of Dave Meltzer, and I could give a shit less, but you made the comment, and now not only is he fucking mad at you, but he's mad at me because I must agree with him that I've always hated him, and he's always been a piece of shit, but I was just suckering him like a mark to use him for publicity. Oh, fucking hell. And he's a goddamn mental case. And he will not stop now. He is emailing back and forth and back and forth. Hold on. Let me go to the bottom of this fucking thing.
Yeah, and just for the record, I said what I said for a reason, because it's fucking true. I was talking about the people that, Jim and Dave knew each other, and the issues they had stemmed from that, and I saw it. Dave Scherer has personal issues with Dave Meltzer because he's jealous of him. He now denies that he was friends with Meltzer. We've literally heard from people already that were like, oh yeah, I went to the ECW arena with Meltzer, and he introduced me to Dave Scherer, and we all sat together and had a great time. Yeah, it was surprising to me that he doesn't know who I am.
We're not going to mention anybody's name in public, but he would recognize, old Dave Scherer would recognize some of these names. But nevertheless, he wrote, again, as I told you before, and you vehemently denied, for some issue I don't know about, last has a major hard-on for me. I don't even know the guy. Blah, blah, blah. So at least tell the truth. The issues are one-sided. I don't know the guy, so I don't care about him. That's his big fucking line. Apparently, he cares about a lot of fucking people.
You care a lot. I'm in your head, baby. I'm in your head, baby.
I turned the other cheek once on this, and what happened? You let your employee punch me in the face again. And then he sends me a screenshot of you guys going back and forth on Twitter and say, hey, Jim, either you lied to me or Brian lied to you. I told you all along the guy had an issue. So I wrote him back, and here's what I wrote him back, because I'm not having a goddamn good week. Dave, I was trying to stay out of this ridiculous bullshit, but I'm having a bad day. You emailed us asking Brian to change his advertising on his Wrestling News podcast because of some bullshit reason you had to have made up that people were thinking no paywall was a shot at you. I emailed you back in a friendly way to try to point out how ridiculous that was. Brian didn't email you back because it struck him wrong, and you wouldn't have wanted to read it. Even when I replied a second time that I had emailed for both of us because we were talking when we read your email. You got pissed that Brian didn't email you back, and you exhorted that you would have to address this pressing issue that no one gave two fucks about in your Q&A. Then you say in your Q&A that I'm great, but you don't know who Brian is. He's nobody, and anybody could do his job. At that point, it was game over with Brian, and I don't blame him. The whole thing came out of you sending an email asking a stupid thing, and then apparently getting pissed because Brian didn't email you back to tell you how stupid it was. Now I'm in the middle of this childish bullshit for no reason other than because I always tried to help your site, and I like you guys, but I have to go through you publicly burying my co-host because of the advertising line you don't like that had nothing to do with your business. Whether you like it or not, that's Brian's issue. It started there, and apparently yours did too, and neither one of you is over it. And it's ridiculous it's gotten this far, and now you're sending me screenshots of tweets like a demented schoolgirl, and I don't give a shit. And he had called you on Twitter, pay to play Brian, like you pay me to do this show.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. After I made that brief comment at the end of the Dave Meltzer segment, he then started tweeting about me. That's when I said, oh, no.
Yeah.
Here's some batting practice with this fucking knucklehead.
Well, and that's it. I said, what is the pay to play? Like he's paying me? I will say that he is, and this is true, and I'll come out and say this. You, being my partner, you have made me more money with this podcast over the last several years than I made working for Vince McMahon and Jim Crockett combined. So, again, I told him, I said, just leave me the fuck alone if I'm not the one yelling at you. But he can't leave anything alone. Because he has to say, you call me, and this is the excerpt of his next email. You call me demented? Fuck you, Jim. He's the one who says he's known me since 1995, which is utter bullshit. That is some crazy shit right there, but if he's paying you, keep on fleecing him. What the fuck? Like, we're all carnies and marks. You're not paying me. We make money with our product, unlike Dave Scherer.
Yeah, we make money, Dave. Why don't you try that sometime with your fucking bullshit website?
And also, by the way, he cut me off the Elite subscription that they had given me. They comped me a fucking $9.95 subscription for a while. He cut me off about that. And you clearly don't give a fuck about what he says about me, so I don't give a fuck about you either. We have achieved tranquility. And I wrote him back
nuts.
One more time.
Wow, he's fucking nuts.
I wrote him back one more time, and he replied to this, but Dave Scherer, again, seek some fucking help. You have successfully made a giant mountain out of a fucking molehill. You won't leave anything alone, and you have to have the last goddamn word. You were holding up signs with Brian in ECW 30 years ago. He doesn't claim to be your BFF or speak to you weekly, but you've been emailing him. He didn't have any fucking issue with you until the no paywall horse shit. If you're going to have the nerve and gall to ask somebody to change the advertising on their fucking unrelated project to make your life easier, quote, then natter on back and forth with me with your panties in a twist because Brian wouldn't email you back to tell you fuck you because I asked him not to. Then knock him in your column so the entire world knows that there's a fucking issue when otherwise nobody would give a shit. Expect a fucking shot every now and then. Which again was much lighter than he wanted to because I asked him not to. And I said, also, you're a fucking mental case. Here's his quotes are, I was a worker duping the gullible Mark in his email because I was never his friend. I just wanted
I'm your employee.
Publicity or whatever. Keep on fleecing him. Who talks like this?
And then he also said, I'm your employee. You have to pick which way it is. Am I your employee or am I your money mark?
Yeah, or at one point, I asked you to calm your monkey down. You're my monkey.
Hey, that's not nice.
I said, Brian and I are apparently both carnies fleecing each other somehow, and you too. What the fuck is the matter with you? We're partners and do a successful show because we're the only honest people we know, and we don't obsess like a spurned twat over people that don't email us back. Check the dates of your emails and call them on Brian and any sideways remark about you or your site from us and get back to me. Wait, don't get back to me. Leave me a fucking alone. Guess what he did? He got back to me.
Oh my God. No.
He said, you can have the last word, and you did. I was done after I sent my last email. Nothing more to say from me. Okay, one last thing.
Is this real? Is this really real. What he said?
This is real. You said Brian and I are partners and do a successful show because we're the only honest people we know and don't obsess like a spurned twat over people that don't email us back. I'll say one last thing. You know Mike Johnson, and there isn't a more honest person who doesn't obsess in the whole world than Mike. No shit, Sherlock. What the fuck? He's bringing Mike into it. Now we're knocking Mike in his fucking demented, possibly drug-addled brain. Do they have drugs for dementia? Because Dave's too old to take fun drugs. But wait a minute, and his last line on the email. Our paths will never cross again. Oh. I haven't seen this fucking guy in 25 years to begin with.
Like it's Gunsmoke.
And I saw that line was in the Honeymooners when they kicked Ralph Cramden out of the fucking Raccoon Lodge. Or no, wait a minute. It was fucking Laurel and Hardy when they were excommunicated from the Sons of the Desert. What the fuck? If you'd have just shut up when we asked you nicely to just don't worry about it. There's no problem. We're not going to change the advertising because it doesn't have anything to do with you. And then he's got to go on a fucking tirade in his column. And then he expects when he gets a few shots, he's emailed me numerous times over the fucking, I got stuck on PWInsider comment. There was a throwaway fucking joke. And he goes Jesus. On and on. And finally, for Mike's sake, I didn't want to fucking make the guy mad, because who knows with this level of goddamn imbalance he has, what he might do. But after a while, what the fuck? And he's yelling at me for something you said, but I didn't disagree with you and derail the topic because we were in another direction just to goddamn take up for him. Fuck you, Dave Scherer. Who the fuck do you think you are to be goddamn browbeating me on these emails because you had the gall and the nerve and the audacity to ask a stupid question of somebody that had nothing to do with any of your fucking business? Fuck you up the ass, you fucking prick. I'm sick and tired of hearing from a lot of fucking people, and I don't have time to get back to the people I want to get back to, so I'll do this publicly here. Fuck you, motherfucker. Come over here to Louisville and our paths will cross, and I'll stick my foot up your ass. God damn it. I'm sorry to take your mad away, but this goddamn has lit me the fuck up.
Because you saw it. I'm like, you know how I am. My attitude is live and let live. Everyone should get along, laugh at life. But if someone comes and takes a shot at you, that can't stand. Like, that can't stand. And I let it stand for a while. And because the Meltzer thing was happening, and because people had sent me Dave Scherer's unhinged tweets about Meltzer, and I wanted people to know in that moment, there are people who have an agenda, there are people who make money off all this, and there are some people who literally are just jealous of Dave, like Dave Scherer has always been. The lariat, he denies now, he lost his mind denying that Meltzer was his friend. He used to be on the phone with Meltzer every week, giving him Lucha reports. He was sending Meltzer tapes. He was with Meltzer at the ECW arena when Dave came, and all of that didn't happen. He now denies it. Obviously, you could hear from just some of the things that Jim read. This guy's fucking deranged. He's fucking messed up. And I think a lot of it is he truly believed he was better than Dave Meltzer, and he was never able to surpass him. And look at him now. He's a guy that everyone jokes about. He had to shut off his comments on Twitter because he doesn't want to see some of the comments he'll be getting on Twitter.
I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah, that's right. You can only, if he mentions you or tags you or whatever, you can reply to him.
And, you know, he keeps wanting to get the last word. He's now claiming that I'm lying, and I guess you're lying too, about him threatening to write the hit piece.
We just read it. I will have to address this in my column.
Yeah.
And no, you don't have to address anything because you were making it up. You got something stuck in your fucking craw. You decided you wanted somebody else to change their advertising. You're offended because people don't email you back because that makes you feel less important, because apparently that's a big deal with Dave. And then he's going to send me all this bullshit that I got time to read. Fuck you again, you fat fuck.
Yeah, you know, you say,
damn it.
Brian's trying to take money out of our mouths. I don't want to take anything out of Mike Johnson. Maybe you can go without a few meals, Dave Scherer.
I don't want to take anything out of Dave Scherer's mouth. I'd have to boil it.
And, you know, on that topic, real quick, I've never dealt with Mike Johnson. If we interacted in the 90s, I don't remember. But I've never had a interaction with him, a bad experience. I've always thought he does a good job of reporting. He seems to be a real hustler. You admire the work that he does trying to get the truth out there. That's the only value there. As I tweeted to him when he was acting like a bitch on Twitter, you should just rebrand. Your brand is worthless. People think of poisonous ads on their computer. You should rebrand as Mike Johnson Reports, while Dave Scherer tries to justify his existence. And on that topic, you know, he accused me of being both your employee and your boss, which is a nifty trick I could do here in my time machine.
It's some kind of tax dodge, I think.
Some kind of tax. Well, no, it's not. For the record, ladies and gentlemen, there is no tax dodge.
There's no dodging of the taxes. No, we support a couple of third world countries with our taxes.
But I was stunned in this whole process to learn that Mike Johnson's not the managing partner over there, because he's the only asset PWInsider has. The name PWInsider doesn't mean shit. Mike Johnson Reports means something. What the fuck does he get out of Dave Scherer collecting the money and then distributing the money for a website that looks like shit, functions like shit, people laugh at, and no one wants to go to unless it's Mike Johnson's reporting? And most of that stuff, there's better ways to do it than that. So, you know, that's the saddest thing, I think. Mike Johnson does a good job, and because it's not even partnered up, because he's working for...
At the mercy of...
Because he's working for a fucking sissy who is insecure about everything and needs to get publicly spanked because of it, it holds him back. And I hope, at some point, Mike Johnson wakes up. Someone, after this started, sent me a tweet that Dave Scherer had sent out, I guess it's sometime previous, when people were saying, hey, what does Mike Johnson get out of this relationship? He said, one day I will in due time turn the website over to Mike Johnson. I just want to say, it's valueless real estate. Mike, if you're ever going to have to do it on your own, start now. Start now. You'll be fine. You'll make more money than you're making now, and you won't have the embarrassing dead weight of this fucking mustached weirdo out in Vegas or wherever the fuck he is, pretending like he's a big success.
But now here's the thing. One of these days, my boy, all this will be yours. How much older does Mike have to fucking get?
Yeah, really.
Good God.
He's not a kid anymore either now that I think about it. Yeah.
No, he's not a kid anymore. You gonna give him something? Sounds like one of these days, kid.
Sounds like you're being stringed along. Sounds like, hey, anything you ever want to do, Mike Johnson. I'm not saying you have to come work for me. I'm saying anything you ever want to do, if you need our help, if you need my help specifically, you got it. But get rid of Dave Scherer. Dead weight, worthless website. Your reporting is the only asset. It's the lone asset of PWInsider. The brand means nothing. You can't even call it PWI. That's Pro Wrestling Illustrated. PWInsider. So I think that's part of the issue. Dave Scherer knows he has a dying website, and he's not capable of keeping up with everything that's happening in this changing world of wrestling media or just media. And unfortunately, it holds Mike Johnson back. And I mean, I've never had a bad dealing with him. He may not be happy with me about all this.
I know Mike well, and he's a wonderful person and one of the most inoffensive people ever, and takes his job seriously and does work hard, as you said, and deserves better than to be a fucking field hand for this fucking fat weirdo that obsesses over fucking tweets like he's a goddamn Swiftie.
And Mike, if you're going to continue working there, why aren't you 65% owner? Why aren't you the major principal owner of that website? Without you, there's nothing. No one is reading it to see Dave Scherer answer questions that he wrote himself. No one is going there for that. They're going there to hear the stories or read the stories that you break. So, ridiculous. Dave Scherer wants to act like a fucking big shot. He's a putz. No one takes him seriously. That's the problem. He wants everyone to take him seriously. He's a putz.
I can't believe, from these emails, I can't believe that this guy is my age. How does he have this much free time? What the fuck? I'll cuss somebody out and be done with it if they've done something legitimate. But goddamn, on and on at length. But just because somebody didn't email you back and change their advertising. And I encourage you, Uncle Dave Scherer, since you're as demented as your California cousin, find us saying something good or bad about you, for that matter. But find us saying anything bad about your website or anything else related before you decided to go on this fucking tangent about the advertising line and fuck this whole thing up. Sunshine, you fucked the whole thing up.
That's right. And one other thing, if he did this to me, and again, we read the emails, if he came out and said, you will do what I want right here, or I'm going to have to write this, who else has he done that to? He rails against Tony Khan. Did Tony Khan fucking snub him? Like, seriously, if it's going to be a transactional thing, I have to write this unless you just happen to change your tagline. If it's going to be that transactional, where does that start and end? Mike Johnson has a lot of credibility. There's no credibility with those kind of practices. So where does that start and end? Who else is paid for positive coverage in one way or another from Dave Scherer? That's a question based on his emails I think needs to be asked right now. But no one's going to ask it because no one gives a fuck about him. I hope Mike Johnson gets away from Dave Scherer. Dave's a fucking loser holding you back, Mike. If you need any help, just let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of other people who would help you. In case you don't know, and I know you already do, most people think Dave is a and yeah, we're going to have to fucking bleep that on YouTube, but it is.
Do we have to bleep that he's a see you next Tuesday on YouTube?
We will have to bleep that on YouTube, yes.
Well, shucks. Well, Dave, you're a vaginal orifice.
That's right. But all right, let's get a song.
But it's your show.
Let's get a song before we get out there. If you want the wrestling news each and every day without fucking pop-up ads or anything else.
Yeah, no clickbait, no paywall.
Yeah, that's right. TheWrestlingNews.com, wherever you find your favorite podcast. You got the audio now. Print is coming. Stay tuned. Well, with that, the drive-thru is closed. We have reached tranquility, ladies and gentlemen.
And our paths will never cross again.
You don't sound so tranquil when you're saying all this. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear more on the Jim Cornette Experience wherever you find your favorite podcast in a few days. Remember, there's a lot of big shows coming up, big reviews, as well as upcoming omnibus specials. Stay tuned. The official Jim Cornette, well, not the official Jim Cornette, but stay tuned there. But the Jim Cornette Experience, and of course, next week, right back here on the Drive Thru on the topic of the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Just go to YouTube and search for Jim Cornette. It'll come right up. Full episodes, clips of the episodes, omnibus collections, all with the very popular Travis Heckle artwork, the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. Go back through the archives, patreon.com/Cornette. Go back through the show archives going back to 2013. $5 a month, patreon.com/Cornette. That's a paywall. See, that's how it works. The Drive-Thru is brought to you by the Law Office of Stephen Pinu, 888, is it 8?
877
877
50 Steve 888. Sound like you ate too much. 877 50 Steve.
That's right. Get even with Stephen. NewLawOffice.com. Of course, Cornette's Collectibles at JimCornette.com. What's going on, Jim?
The holiday sale starts Saturday, October 5th at noon Eastern, and details in the next week or two on some of the fine things we're going to have available.
At JimCornette.com. Of course, you can follow Jim on Twitter at TheJimCornette. You can follow me on Twitter at GreatBrianLast. Hear me on the 605 Super Podcast. And of course, listen every day to the Wrestling News, wherever you find your favorite podcast, or for free.
Because it's free. There's no paywall.
That's right. No clickbait. Obviously, based on his complaints, Dave Scherer is a big fan of paywall and clickbaits. I'm not. Not when it comes to the Wrestling News, wherever you find your favorite podcast, but wherever you find us, your favorite podcast hosts. In a few days on The Experience, and next week back here on the Drive-Thru for Jim Cornette, I'm the Great Brian Last. Tally-ho!